Aseto. The blame game between the government and the opposition Azimio la Umoja coalition is expected to continue. This after Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki vowed that he will arrest and take action against those who organized and participated in the protest that caused death and destruction of property. On the other hand, Azimio has insisted that it will continue with its demonstrations, with Odinga stating that he will be giving further directions on the next course of actions after being forced to cancel the Kamkunji meeting.
This time around, there's no moving on until Ruto shows a readiness to listen to and respect the people. People deserve a deal, not bullets and tear gas. Kenyans clearly understand that if they let Ruto get away with his present display of disrespect, dictatorship and contempt for the people, he will try to get away with many other bad things.
In his statement, CS Kithure Kindiki described yesterday's events as shameful for accusing Azimio leaders of organizing the demos that has caused major loss for the country. Investigations against those involved in cases of violence, murder and destruction of property are ongoing. Azimio had planned to address Kenyans at Kamkunji grounds after the protest, but postponed the meeting as Raila claimed to have received intelligence information that the government had planned to send youth to disrupt the meeting.
We received intelligence of a most heinous plan by Kenya Kwanza to ferry armed goons who would attack peaceful attendees of our rally in Kamkunji. These goons had express orders to shoot directly into the crowd while enjoying police protection. Our crew, who had been sent to set up the stage at Kamkunji, were attacked and their equipment damaged.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi now says Azimio leader Raila Odinga and fellow leaders in Azimio will get tired and stop with their protest, citing the example of protests in Nigeria against the government due to the rise in the cost of living after the removal of subsidies on petroleum products, which were later suspended. Mudavadi has made it clear that time will come when Raila himself will get tired and give the government a chance to serve Kenyans.
Juzi Nigeria walikuwa kisema wanaandamana kwa sababu serikali ya Nigeria ambayo inatoa mafuta, sisi hatuna mafuta, lakini wakatoa kile wanaita subsidy. Watu waliandamana juzi kule Nigeria, si wamepoa. Kwa hivyo hata hapa mimi naona hivi karibuni Raila atachoka.
In an interview with radio stations from the coast region, Mudavadi has criticized Azimio leaders, calling them hypocritical and selfish politicians for failing to provide an alternative method to finance the 2023 budget instead of increasing taxes as proposed by the Kenya Kwanza government.
Huu ni unafiki. Wanatuelekeza kwa barabara ya unafiki. Wanatudanganya kwamba kuna njia nyingine. Sasa wewe ukiuliza Raila hapa, wewe Raila, tupatie mpangilio yako ya kututoa kwa hii shimo. Nakumbuka kwa maandamano yao yote hawajatoa alternative. Alikuwa amesema we shall produce an alternative budget statement. Alitoa? Hakutoa na hatatoa kwa sababu hana.
It should be noted that Mudavadi has been quoted many times saying that the government needs at least 2 or 3 years to deal with the economic issues, saying that the 6 months that they had promised Kenyans during the campaign is not enough due to the large government debt owed by financial institutions. Now, chairperson of the Council of Governors, Ednah Guru, has fiercely condemned the vandalism and destruction of properties, including the Nairobi Expressway, witnessed during yesterday's demonstrations. The Kirinyaga governor added that what happened yesterday was not demonstrations but economic sabotage. She said this was intended counterproductive to the purported cause, terming the actions as thuggery clothed in constitutional garb. Waiguru wondered how the destruction of public property was going to bring down the cost of living. We go down south and 12 more bodies have been exhumed at the Shakahola forest in Kilifi County, where the search for victims of a suspected starvation cult is ongoing. The death toll now stands at 372 after Phase 4 of the exhumation exercise kicked off Monday this week. Coast Regional Commissioner Rhoda Onyancha said that no new arrests have been made in connection with the deaths, hence the total number of the arrests remain at 37. Onyancha also reported that the number of rescued people so far remains at 95, while the DNA samples collected are at 253. This is News. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu. This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
You tune into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanya.
Amen. Amen.
So 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It gets over
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes.
what the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself.
When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, oh, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom?
I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to. She's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, sio siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will be called First Ladies until you change the name.
This is one of the hottest show that we can ever miss in the morning, and it's a show that really gives a real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Nduthai, nice meeting you. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again.
Character is like pregnancy. You cannot hide it. People hiding here and there, but after 2-3 months, 5 months, now you realize, so that is why the attitude that you were showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say. You cannot pickpocket a naked man.
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
No comment.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Already looking like it'll be a normal traffic day this Thursday. A little bit of traffic starting to build up on Jogo Road this morning as you get out towards the city. And Uhuru Highway, already pretty busy as you get towards the CBD. Let's take a look at the Thika Superhighway. Actually, nothing much happening here. It's going to have a build up as you get towards KCA and then out towards Muranga Road. That is looking like it's building up already. Okay, let's take a look and see what Thursday is going to look like. Fingers crossed that even with the traffic that we're already seeing, it'll be a stable morning. Spice FM KE on Twitter. Talk to us there and let's keep things moving through Thursday.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation
It's
9
Room. Minutes after 6
the
o'clock
only
on
way.
This Thursday, July 13th, I beg your pardon. The 13th of July, 2023. Karibu sana and welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. It's Thursday. How are you doing? I know yesterday was an interesting day around the country, not just in the capital. Many, many things happening, and that will form conversations that we will have today. But we say good morning and welcome to a brand new day. Kenya's biggest conversation starts now. And hopefully you are doing well. As these two fine specimen of gentlemen join me, let me tell you what we'll be discussing today. It is Justice Thursday, so we will have a Justice Thursday conversation. Before I tell you what that's going to be about, let's look at...
Dude, you didn't do traffic?
I did.
Huh?
I did. Ednah, you're my witness. Did I or did I not do?
What are you people doing?
Which people?
Yeah? You and Ednah. Surely. You do, the deal is you do traffic. Then Ednah plays that ding, 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 ding.
So look at the time.
Ding, 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 ding.
Look at the time.
Then ding, ding, ding. Then we come. Then at 10 past, around 10, 11 past, we say good morning, how you doing, how you doing? Like now, good morning, City.
Morning, Eric.
See, it's 11 past 6.
Look at them.
Morning, Do.
City, good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Can I go on with the traffic? Yes, you're saying?
I have done the traffic, brother.
Okay, so it's weather.
What would you like it to be?
Weather with traffic.
Both of them joined together, like peanut butter and jam sandwiches. Okay.
That's who and who?
You tell us what we're doing today, Basi.
Huh?
No, greet you. How are you?
I mean, I'm fine. You see?
You're fine. You're fine, thank you.
Are you okay, Hindu?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Okay. Me, I'm also good.
You're good?
Good to be here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday, Justice Thursday. Like Ndu says, we'll have a Justice Thursday conversation. We'll look at tackling online child sexual exploitation and abuse, and we'll be joined by a digital forensics expert at the DCI Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit. What? Umesikia huyo? Digital forensics expert.
Yeah.
Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit. All right, Detective Lawrence Okoh will be joining us at 7 a.m. At 8 a.m., the man who survived impeachment by the Senate not confirming his impeachment, CPA William Odwall, joins us at 8 a.m. He's the Deputy Governor of Siaya County. So now, after surviving and being told, go and make peace with your governor. Can you go and make peace with your governor? What has he done since then? What has he done since then? Has he done that? We hope that he has, but he'll be coming to tell us. At 9 o'clock, we have another conversation about online and data protection online. Personal information risks on social media. Oscar Okwero is a cybersecurity and data privacy consultant. He'll be here to tell us, those things that we do on social media. Post things, put photo, take photo, post photo. At my happy place.
Those places.
At my happy place. How much information are you actually sharing on social media, and what are the risks? What are the risks? That's what we'll be discussing at 9. So make sure that you keep it there for that conversation. Sawa. Now let's go straight into weather forecast. Sindio. We're live streaming the show on Kenya's biggest conversation on YouTube and Facebook. If you're online, you know what you need to do. And we are still calling out for people down under. If you are anywhere in those Polynesian places, please let us know where you are. We shall really, really appreciate knowing that you can still get us. 13 minutes after 6.
Cloudy conditions, what we're seeing in Nairobi this morning. We'll see highs of 22 and lows of 16. Looking into a chilly Nyeri this morning, highs of 26 and lows of 17. Looking into Eldoret, we'll see highs of 26 and lows of 17 as well. In Mombasa this morning, it's partly cloudy at 23, highs of 27 and lows of 23. Partly cloudy at 25 in Malindi, highs of 27, lows of 24. And in Kisumu, it's cloudy at 19, highs of 28 and lows of 18. 17 and mostly clear in Kakamega. 27 will be the high and lows of 15. Partly cloudy at 18 in Kampala, 27 highs and lows of 17. Dar es Salaam is cloudy at 23, it'll go to highs of 30. And looking into Johannesburg, 3 degrees and partly cloudy, highs of 16 and lows of 2. It's partly cloudy at 26 in Lagos after a whole day and night of rain. 30 will be the high and lows of 25. Partly cloudy at 19 in Kinshasa, highs of 33 and lows of 18. It's a cloudy afternoon in Beijing at 25. 25 will be the high and lows of 22. It's cloudy at 17, Paris, highs of 26, and London will see highs of 23, where it's partly cloudy at 14. It's 27 and clear in New York Wednesday night, coming into Thursday, highs of 34 and lows of 23.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Amliotos asked the question, how do you say good morning in your language? Vushe, vushe, vushere, vushe. Quite a number of people online this morning. Sami Chisaka says good morning. Jeffrey Okoh says good morning, Spice crew listening from Vasha. Okay. Good morning, Spice, tuning from Kisumu Dala. Bushiele from the western part of Kenya. Good morning, fellow Sentinels. Hope someone is drawing documents for Department of Spicy Strategic Planning. That's where it's at. All that money that must be missing from our pockets. Okay. Looking forward to the show. That's Joseph Gitao. Good morning to you. Finally, find it. Yes, Serena Malcolm has been looking for us. Well, there we are. Good morning from... There you go, Eric. They've heard you. Anthony Kandir is tuning from Wagga Wagga, New South Wales in Australia.
Bas.
They're here, Mama.
Very good.
Assalamu alaikum, locked in from Abu Dhabi, and that's soulful. Hi guys, we're doing good in Doha. Very good to hear. Josegi says good morning from Okoh in Meru. Good morning, mandem and girldem. Guess who that is? Brian Obara. We see you this morning. Imagine.
Obara, Obizi.
The one and only Obizi. Good morning to you, sir. Brian Otieno says, good morning. Is it possible for Eric to be reading the headlines behind the Business Daily? Yani, on the back page, is I think is what he's trying to say.
The headline behind. Okay, I will do that.
The back line. Sophia
it's usually an analysis article, an opinion piece.
It is.
But okay.
Sophia Damery says good morning, tuned in from Abu Dhabi. And David Cedinho says good morning from Copenhagen. Julius Kenyanjui, good morning, Spice Gang, tuned in from California. Linda Agola is laughing out loud for some reason. Okay. Top of the morning from Doha. Good morning and happy Thursday, listening in from Minneapolis. And good morning, listening from Jeremiah Watavier. Okay. Jeremiah Mutai says good morning. Ndundi haha. Okay.
Start once. 1, 2, 3.
Ndi ha. What's that?
That I didn't do ha.
Ndundi ha. That's what it's written. Ndundi ha juja.
What is that?
Ndundi ha juja. Ndu ha juja.
I'm here in Juja.
Yeah,
Zatre.
See you get it.
Ndundi ha
Juja. Okay. That's a spirit sister.
Thank you very much. Good morning from Dubai. That's Fadil Ferouz. Danny says Steve Daiquiri. Good morning to you from Memphis in the USA. Good morning, tuning from Lolongo. People have made it, Mama. Anthony Daudi says good morning, tuning from Feather in Nairobi. Oyawore Wuru from Newcastle.
Oyawawa?
Oyaore Uru.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you really close. There's, in fact, one could hardly notice the difference.
Exactly.
Yes.
You see, I've got it. A very good morning to you. James is saying good morning. And another one from Australia. You've asked us, coming in like rain.
Very good.
Good morning, Samoy Dennis, tuned in from Queensland in Australia. And tuned in from... People are living there this morning. Is it true? Tajuddin Abbas is tuned in from Akureyri in Iceland. Iceland. Omo. Ruth Morumbi tuned in from Michigan, and Rutherford says, good morning, peeps. Good morning, bring back Obara. I know, Diana Wangari. Sasa, somebody is asking you to wake up because she wants to hear your voice. Eric, so you say good morning slowly.
Good morning slowly.
No, just as in terms of speed. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Very good. Sasa, you've made somebody's morning.
Sasa hiyo nimeamka.
Hapana mtu mwingine ameamka. Okay. Fanyeni ile kitu. I don't know what that is, but all right. Welcome everybody and thanks for joining us today.
Kabisa. There's somebody else here. I've just seen it on Twitter here. Yeah. Kwema wanakwetu. TBT safi, namshukuru Mungu nimeamka vyema hapa Magongo Mombasani. Anasema ameamka vyema Magongo Mombasani City. Huyo jamaa anaitwa Benjamin Kimbwereza, Magonda.
Haya ni majina yake yote
kwenye Twitter pale, kwenye mtandao wa Twitter pale. Bwana Muga, like that with the proverb?
Yes, we are still in the country of Sudan.
Alrighty.
Yes. Love for something makes a man blind and deaf. Love for something, mapenzi, makes a man blind and deaf. This proverb doesn't include women, it's just men.
It's just men, eh? It's when men love something that it can make them blind and or deaf.
Yes. Who is it who sang When a Man Loves a Woman? Who sang that song?
When a man loves a woman.
That one.
Michael Bolton.
Really?
Michael Bolton? Okay, I don't know.
He did a cover.
He did a cover, yeah. And that was the one that became more famous than that one.
Percy Sledge.
Does Percy Sledge was the first one?
Did the original.
Look at Percy.
Percy. You look at Sledge, yes.
That when a man loves a woman, he goes blind.
He can become blind
and deaf.
And deaf.
Read it again.
That's
because this guy,
that's Sudanese understood this thing before Percy Sledge and Bolton.
When a man loves a woman, he goes blind and deaf.
No, love for something makes a man blind and deaf. Then you say, is that not what I said?
Thank you.
Okay, headlines.
All right, on the front page of the Standard today, you've seen some grisly pictures. Day of chaos and death. 1. Raila cancels a rally scheduled for Kamkunji, saying it was to be infiltrated. 2. Azimio leader claims thugs were sponsored by state officials to unleash terror in Nairobi. 3. Protesters and activists decry heavy police hand. 4. Property destroyed in most towns as thugs went on a looting spree. And 5. PSV operators down tools, saying the cost of fuel is too high. There's a quote from Raila Odinga. He says, to avert more injury and loss of lives, we have taken the strategic decision not to proceed with the rally at Kamkunji. We'll look at more of that covered on 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 and 8 in the Standard today. Iranian president lands in Kenya, leaves some 6 hours later with a bag of goodies. After a diplomatic faux pas on Tuesday, President Ibrahim Raisi was in town with a raft of trade deals, and so things became Raisi.
What does faux pas mean?
Faux pas is a mistake. Mistake. A gaffe. Blunder.
Wait. Yes.
So there was a
mistake and blunder. Not really synonymous, yes, but not really.
Not really the same thing.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yes.
A blunder. Yeah. Faux pas. A wrong move is more. In fact, the direct translation of faux pas is wrong move.
Wrong move. Yeah. No, wrong embarrassing move. Embarrassing comes into it.
So faux en français is false. Okay.
And pas
is not. Pas is you say.
So false
je
not.
Ne suis pas. I am not. So position.
So false not.
False position essentially is what it is.
Okay.
Direct translation.
Okay.
Protests push firms to take up insurance. That's another headline on the Standard today. What grabs most column inches in the Nation as well. Shut down. 2 contrasting images emerged from the ashes of the chaos yesterday to provide a remarkable commentary on the 2 worlds of a country teetering on the precipice. One where the rule of law and order carried the day, and the other where civil disobedience disrupted economies and livelihoods and even brought lives to a violent end. So there were a number of things that are being highlighted here. Protest deaths, reports that 7 people were killed and dozens injured. Parents keep their children at home over safety fears. Schools closed. Businesses lost. Traders count losses as they close shop in fear of vandals. Transport crisis. Matatu truck drivers keep off roads over protests and fuel prices. Protests spread, skirmishes in at least 20 counties as Kindiki warns of arrest. He didn't just warn, he said tonight people will be arrested. That's what he said. So there are pictures there in many towns, arrests, all sorts of things going on. Okay, on the back page of the Nation, losers in KEMSA deal win the Global Fund Nets contract. And you might wonder what that's about. Well, I'll tell you later.
Okay. The Business Daily. Let's start with the back page.
There you go.
Due to public demand. There's an opinion piece here written by Christine Karoki, who's the head of pensions at Old Mutual Group Kenya, talking about embracing change to ensure a comfortable life in retirement. Accumulated savings, when converted to a retirement income, should amount to at least 75% of one's total income prior to quitting employment. Your accumulated savings should be to 75% of your last pay slip. Front page. How markets are shrugging off opposition-led protests. The Kenyan financial markets largely shrugged off disruption caused by the opposition-led protests, recording gains in contrast to the business sector, which has suffered losses running into billions due to closures. The NSE yesterday recorded a gain of 10 billion in investor wealth, having also recorded a 40 billion jump in market capitalization on Friday when the new round of protests began. So things are happening in the markets that are saying, it's all right. Tomorrow, Zoya, we continue. The headline with a photo on the Business Daily today is about a businessman in who has been big in Mombasa and is big across the country, called David Langat, mostly known as DL. David Langat, right? So there's an auctioneer who has bad manners. This auctioneer with bad manners put David Langat's empire on the newspapers on Monday, saying that he wants to auction them to recover a 2.1 billion shilling loan owed to a local bank. Now, billionaire businessman David Langat's empire was this week thrown into unfamiliar territory after auctioneers put up his tea estate in Nandi and office blocks in Mombasa for a forced sale. Popularly known as DL, the tycoon made his fortune running his empire from Mombasa and has vast interests in real estate, agribusiness, hospitality, and the energy sector, among others. Let me tell you that interest in agribusiness. He has a tea estate in Nandi that has 2.47 million tea bushes. It occupies 958.75 acres, in Nandi. On that piece of land, there are over 100,000 eucalyptus trees, over 2,000 cypress trees. There's 500 acres on the side, which is under livestock. 958 is machani chai, na miti ya kutengeneza machani chai. Alafu 500 iko ng'ombe. Nyali, he owns the Nyali Center. 330,000 square foot office space, shops, supermarket, restaurants, and showroom. Wapi pale? Mombasa. Thika Road Apartments, 4-story office block and 5 go-downs used for processing and packaging of tea products in Shimanzi, Mombasa. In hospitality, he owns the Sunrise Resort Hotel and Spa in Nyali. He owns the Kitengela Hotel in Kajiado, Pearl Hotel in Eldoret. Others, DL Furniture, Firefox supplier of firefighting equipment, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now, there's a certain bank that claims that he owes them 2.1 billion shillings, and they went to, and they've put this property on auction.
All the property?
Yeah, property that will bring in money.
Wow. Okay.
Ile ambayo ataleta hii pesa,
2.1 billion.
2.1 billion is a source at Graham Investments told the Business Daily that they hope to sell the expansive tea estate, all 900 acres. They want to raise 1.9 billion shillings from that. The billionaire is considered a close confidant of the president. This tea estate is called Koisagat Tea Group of companies based in Nandi Hills, and so on and so forth. That story is the Business Daily.
Mention anywhere the value of that tea estate?
The value of the tea estate? Yes. This is what he's saying. They want to raise 1.9 billion.
No, that's what they want to raise. Because that's what's owed.
Whether they're valued, I don't know.
Yes.
No, what is owed is more. It's 2 billion.
Yes.
So what they want to raise here, before they go into Nyeri, they do some valuation.
They do.
So their valuation of it is that they're thinking 1.9.
But you see, the problem with the forced sale is that you, the owner, will not benefit anything. Yes, they're not going to look for the best possible price.
Yeah, this is the forced sale value.
Yes. So now that one, it could even be 50% of the value of that particular property, and it often means also they have a ready buyer.
Right. So they could sell it away for
valuers have a formula. So your forced sale value would be X percentage of market value, would be X percentage of I don't know.
Well, since it's them who decide.
They can decide anything.
That's precisely what I'm saying. And you can get a valuer who can decide anything in your favor.
What? What? Aya, City. You tell us what's on what's in the Star.
This saga of David Lagat. There's a lot more to it than I think meets the eye.
It's a big one.
Out of the blues, and suddenly this empire is just crumbling, and no. Something went wrong somewhere. And that something went really wrong. Anyway, in Till Green, top right hand corner of the Star, opposition protests. That's what is the headline. However, there's a picture of the president of Kenya. And a picture of the Iranian president. Ruto meets Iran president as allies call for Raila's arrest over chaos. The story is on page 6. Okay? Anarchy. Kenya Private Sector Alliance estimates that Kenya lost about 3 billion as a result.
Yesterday alone?
Yes, that's the estimate. 7 shot dead. That's bang in the middle. As Raila calls for more demos. Expressway vandalized, police car burnt in a day-long chaos in 20 counties. The story is on page 4 and 5. And that story you'll find Deritu Muredi has been arrested yet again. As Martha Karua and Co were prevented from holding their demonstration in Meru. Right. Women fund borrowers failed to service 1 billion loans. That's the story of bad loans report. Kicked out. Kanini Kega topples Uhuru and as Jubilee Party leader. Yunsawa?
Surely. They give the credit where it's due. It's Sabina who has toppled Uhuru as Jubilee Party leader.
This is us in the media and our reporting.
And
yes,
he
it
has
is.
toppled Jeremiah Kioni.
Yes. As
Sabina
I said,
has toppled Uhuru.
yes, this is us and our reporting. And this one is now collective. It's not this person, it's us. It's the media.
It's us.
It's us. And
It's
then
collective FOPA.
Yes, exactly. It's a collective Fox Po.
Fox pose.
Yes. All right. Parents are pariah. Ostracized. Iron mother of 3 stands up for the. The story is interesting. Iron mother of 3 stands up for 2 gay children. The story is on page 10. Iron, yani.
Oh, iron.
Yes, iron, like iron.
Like Iron Lady.
Iron Lady, lewajua.
Mother of 3, 2 gay children. Okay.
Yep.
In Kenya. Okay. Let's take a break then. 2077. Tell us about traffic. Cindy. Hi.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Unlike yesterday, there's traffic building on the Thika Superhighway today, and it's pretty heavy coming in from GSU out towards Outer Ring and then through into the city. It's going to touch on Murang'a Road and then get into the CBD. It's also coming in hot on Outer Ring, Manyanja Road, as well as Kangunda Road. Juja Road already is busy. Started maybe a few minutes to 6 o'clock today. Coming out of Westlands, we're seeing some movement, and it'll come into the CBD quite heavy. Also, it's going to come off Oloy Tok as well as James Gishero. That'll happen later, but we can see the rumblings even now. Jogger Road is busy. It's heavy right around Makadara at the train station, and it's going to take you towards Landis, which for now is free and clear. But as you get to Kamkunji, that's going to pack up quite some. Let's look at North Airport Road, where there's still some questions about how freely you can move this morning. After the events of yesterday, Outer Ring is already starting to build up as you go towards the Eastern Bypass, and it will likely pick up with traffic later. How about we check and see what it looks like at 7? Let us know what's going on where you are this morning, and let's keep things moving. Talk to us on Spice FM, KE on Twitter.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4.
So there are many things happening, and after the events that we saw, things were happening all at the same time yesterday. This vehicle that we saw burnt, police vehicle that we saw burnt, happened here.
This is in Mlolongo.
Right? And the moving of the expressway fences also was quite terrible to see. But we saw this all over the country, many things happening. Really didn't matter where you were. We also saw the very unfortunate case of, the attack on a school in Kangemi, where tear gas was then lobbed into a school. I do not know if that was by mistake or otherwise. We don't have the exact reports, but we do know that one child is feared dead and that 20 were injured. Chaos rocked Nyanza region as mass protests by different groups led by Azimio La Umoja coalition protesting the high cost of living turned violent, paralyzing most activities, according to this story. 2 people were shot dead while 3 others are nursing gunshot wounds at various hospitals across the region as violence, shootings, arrests, destruction of property and blockade of roads dominated protests. In Kisumu, a man was shot dead in Kondele, while in Migori, another man succumbed to gunshot wounds at the Migori County Referral Hospital. Among those nursing gunshot wounds include a Form 3 student in Migori, shot in his legs around the Oruba area. Unlike last week's protests that only featured in a few towns in the region, yesterday's protests spread in nearly all towns and major centres, bringing activities to a standstill. This came as response from law enforcement came under scrutiny over alleged use of excessive force targeting protesters and journalists covering the unrest. In Kisumu, Standard Group journalist Collins Oduoro was assaulted by police officers as he covered the protests. He sustained injuries on his legs and his equipment was destroyed by the officers. In the region by 7 a.m, protesters had lit bonfires and blocked roads in Nyamira, Kisumu, Kisii, Migori, Sondu, Homa Bay, Kendu Bay, Siaya and Bondo. While the protests are still peaceful despite heavy police deployment, protesters resorted to playing mini football matches on closed roads. Later on, chaos intensified after police began dispersing them. All right, so that's what we saw there. We saw quite a lot happening.
So in some areas, they began very peacefully.
Yeah. They began very peacefully.
Where people are playing ball and jumping rope and all these things in parts of the country.
We saw the pictures coming out of Kisii in the morning where they were playing, on the streets and all of this. At around 11 o'clock in the morning yesterday is when things started going south, literally. And we saw a lot of that happening on Mombasa Road. We saw then going now further on towards Mlolongo. Syokimau was blocked off for some time, many hours.
We're talking about that major artery basically being blocked.
Yeah.
Because it's not just people who are going to Mlolongo. It is the entire...
It's everybody.
Anybody using the
Anybody using
Road.
Mombasa Road going out this way was terrible.
And coming in.
Outer Ring, you could not access Outer Ring as late as 6 p.m. yesterday. All right? So then now we saw then anybody who was then also going out towards Kitengela then was closed off. This is where we saw the burning of the police vehicle, and then things got uglier thereafter. But then we came to the realization yesterday that if anything else were to happen, think about it. If you're going in that direction, if anything were to happen, there's no way out.
Yeah.
I just thought about that yesterday. There's actually no way out unless you keep going to wherever. We also saw
so those things in
one
Molongo,
killed in this area.
When the people were getting onto the highway and removing the barricades on the highway and removing the flower pots on the highway, was it because of police provocation?
This was not, and this is the thing that
at this time at 11 a.m. were police really trying to lob tear gas at these people?
We saw the police start shooting and lobbing tear gas after the fence of the expressway started to be removed and the flower pots being destroyed. It was after that. It was not before or during. All right, to try and disperse the crowds. Now, the very interesting thing is that for the first time, we've seen that these protests went into the residential areas within Syokimau, Mlolongo, and then out towards Kitengela. The protests went into residential areas, not just on the...
What were they protesting in the residential areas?
That's the thing. Just,
and who are these
coming
people?
well into those areas. Schools could not take their children home. They had to wait until now. The police in certain areas now was sending messages to schools and saying, all right, now you can release your buses.
And actually, as I recall, who were these people?
That's the question. There's been many allegations that they were paid goons to bring them into the area because you've never seen something like that before. And so we don't know.
You can't tell me that this was spontaneous. There's nothing spontaneous about, a bunch of people getting onto the highway and all of them together in concert,
causing a ruckus.
removing barricades.
Nope. It was not
Of all
Getting
the
onto
things
the
you can
It was
expressway.
not
No.
spontaneous, because then you people standing on the side of the road say, okay, we're removing the fence, and then you join in and say, okay, let's go ahead and do it. Absolutely not.
And
It was
particularly
not.
this area. We haven't seen this kind of demonstrations in Mlolongo.
Never. It has never happened. It has
And it
never
begs
happened.
the question, was it a demonstration?
Exactly. It has never happened like this. Even when there have been demonstrations around the country, you wouldn't see this. You would just hear there would be caution, but it has never been like this.
You know, when people start burning, we're having a very interesting discussion with my Uber guy, saying, like the demonstrations that began with burning tires. So I asked him, what sort of demonstration is that?
Yeah, what are you demonstrating?
What are you demonstrating? People burning tires on Thika Road, people burning tires, God knows where else. How is that a demonstration?
Yeah.
What are you demonstrating? There are people who, we have said on many occasions, forget being paid. That narrative, I'm going to put that aside for the time being. There are people who know that they have an inclination towards wrongdoing. And the mention of a demonstration gives them the opportunity. Because if indeed demonstrations were an opportunity to loot for the majority of those who demonstrate, if you look at the crowd that we had on Friday, if they started looting, what sort of damage would that have caused?
Incomprehensible.
Precisely. So this that we see.
That's why it was not. It seemed organized chaos. That's what it looked like, really.
Yeah.
It was organized
But it isn't,
chaos.
and it isn't just in Nairobi.
It was
No.
everywhere, and it was simultaneous. That's the thing. It's not possible to have an organic kind of thing happening in the manner in which it was happening, in the number of locations in which it was happening.
They were prepared.
Absolutely. They were.
They were prepared.
They were.
Yes.
Now, we talk about, the right to protest, the right to demonstrate and all, and, the agitation for everything. But there's got to be a line that's drawn somewhere.
That line is clear.
Yeah.
This that we saw yesterday. No.
No way. And for me, every time, you guys know my stance, when children are involved and suffer in the manner in which they did yesterday, where out of the 7 people that were killed, 2 of them were children. Absolutely not.
Tear gas was lobbed into a school.
Into a school where 1 child died. 20 are in hospital today.
Yes.
20 children are in hospital today. 1 is dead. A parent sent their child to school in the morning and then goes to pick up a dead body in the evening. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. A Form 3 boy is moving from one spot to another and finds himself in this. He's shot.
How do you explain that?
How do you explain that?
We sometimes in the media also to blame in this sense. We highlight the economic losses. The buildings that are touched, that's wrongdoing and should be highlighted.
100%.
But it cannot supersede the loss of human lives and the specific circumstances where each and every of those individuals who passed away lost their lives.
Yep.
Each and every. Even as we talk about these abhorrent wrongdoings. I mean, what on earth are you doing on the expressway?
What's the
damaging offense?
The fence.
What are you doing?
What is that? What is that? Why? Did you see the video? There's a group of people on the road, and they're journalists in a vehicle, and you just decide we're coming for you next. Then you come and then you smash their windscreen.
Yeah.
What?
People are in a
cannot
vehicle, in a
connect.
car, and
they're in the car.
You're walking past that vehicle, and then you decide just to hurl a stone.
Yes.
And come for you and smash what? I fail to reconcile the connection between this wanton destruction and demonstrating for a cause.
Now, on the expressway, you take a barricade and you lob it down. We are grateful that it didn't land on a vehicle.
Yeah.
Because if it landed, the people in the vehicle would have died.
Yeah.
There is no 2 options about it. What on earth is that?
What is that?
That's got to be called out.
It has to be called
It's
out.
got to be called
absolutely.
out. And both sides, this is the government which provides security, ought to arrest those people who did this and those who were perpetrated it. And the organizers of the rally ought also to come out and say, this is not how we do it. Okay?
If they don't condemn it, then
almost accepting.
If then people lay this mayhem and destruction at their doorstep, they have asked for it. They must condemn it.
You know what they did yesterday is, so the statement by the Azimio leadership yesterday in the afternoon when they were cancelling the Kamukunji rally, they said, look, I did an impromptu, Raila says, I did an impromptu tour into town and there was no disruption, there were no police. I went to Kenyatta Market, I met with people, nothing. But now, the Kenya Kwanza people are organizing goons to come and disrupt our rally. And we have intelligence of the same. So I think what they should have done is tell people, all right, so this is how we are going to organize ourselves better than the Kenya Kwanza people, so they can be seen if these are Kenya Kwanza organized people. This thing of just passing blame from one to the other, in the end, it doesn't matter. In the end, there's somebody whose business was destroyed yesterday. In the end, there's somebody whose child was killed yesterday. The Imali demos were just because a boy was closing his mother's shop. A 15-year-old shot some stray bullet or whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
In the end, there's somebody who's mourning their child.
Yes, and then mayhem reigned thereafter.
And statements will not do it. Whether statement from Kithure Kindiki, statement from Raila Odinga, statement from the president, statements will not cut
Not
it.
just statements, disclaimers. It's like that is what's fashionable. Everyone giving themselves distancing them from what happened. And we saw it happening. And there are people who were responsible for it. No.
Apana, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else. It's too much. It's too much. So let me tell you this story of David Langat. Okay, let me just read what is happening.
Please.
What's been written. So Graham Investments, which is the auction firm, told the Business Daily that they hope to sell the expansive tea estate at 1.9 billion shillings in the first sale held on August 1st at the auctioneer's offices in Nairobi's Westlands. The Koisagat Tea Group of companies based in Nandi Hills comprises land measuring about 1,342 acres, plant and machinery. The auction notice says the land is developed with an exclusive tea zone for export-oriented commercial tea cultivation. It also has 2.47 million tea bushes, eucalyptus trees and cypress trees. Other portions of the tea estate are under residential use, that's managerial houses and labor camps. Woodlots are periodically harvested to provide wood fuel to the tea processing. Langat he was recently named by the President to the National Investment Council, has invested in agribusiness, real estate, energy and hospitality. The tea estate has 2 schools, Francis Kibet Memorial School and Koisagat Primary School, a factory section, a factory building, a story administration building, estates and partnership offices, fuel station, main store, factory workshop, carpentry workshop, weighbridge office, also a chemical store, factory washrooms, labor camps with shops, social hall, managerial houses, guest houses, swimming pool, chairman's residence. Water is sourced from at least 3 mini dams. That's reservoirs across the property, pumped to a central treatment point, and then it's distributed to all these areas. The notice for auction also announced the planned auction of Langat's properties in Chimanzi in Mombasa town, registered under the name Koifan Developers. The sale will be conducted on July 31st in Mombasa. Auctioneers are hoping to raise 200 million shillings from this particular sale. It comprises a 0.7-acre plot developed with a 4-story office block, 5 go-downs, and is used for processing and packaging of tea products. The buyers will be required to deposit 10% of the purchase price. Purchase price is 200 million shillings. 10% is how much?
20 million.
20 million. A bidding deposit of 5 million for the property number 2, that's a Mombasa property. 10 million for property number 1, that's a tea estate, will be mandatory. Sio nini? Sio ni mambo mengi?
Ni story.
Mingi sana. Actually, there's an economic concept that gathered and gained currency in what you call common folklore. It's called the tycoon's big mistake. Someone can be doing swimmingly in their business and making money hand over fist. Then you get into a project. And many instances it's a vanity project. Vanity in that the economic benefit cannot really balance again the economic benefits that you're likely to realize. But you like the thing and you go into it. This has no bearing with what Eric is saying. I'm just brought this to mind. So in going into it, you pour your sweat and blood and energy into it.
Yeah.
And the result, even when you get it, it's catastrophic to you.
To you?
Yes, because the process of getting it, you've ended up damaging many other things which were working quite well, but it is because this is something that you wanted. I'm reminded of a time in Mombasa when a sign of being a well-to-do tycoon was to own a beach hotel.
It was the thing.
It was a thing. You had a beach plot.
You're
now
a
you own a
tycoon.
beach hotel. You're a tycoon. Many people went to that business, and that marked the beginning of the end of what we may refer to as their empires. That's a tycoon's big mistake.
Where? This one we'll get to see, because the stories do not say which bank is this.
Yeah, of course.
No.
And not loan. No. And you know the story, the history behind it. We are only at the auction point.
Yeah.
What's behind it? Not yet. Siti, as you tell us the story, let me tell you this one quickly. Okay? There's something called employee share ownership plan, right? ESOP. Many companies come up with that. So you work for this company, and what we decide to do is, as part of the reward is we give you shares into the company, right?
Yes,
as bonus. Safaricom is one such company. And in its 2023 annual report, the number of shares vesting to qualified staff is unchanged compared to the previous year. But now under the employee performance share plan, Safaricom is buying its own shares in the open market and allocating them to specific managers who take ownership after a 3-year vesting period, and then they're free to sell or continue holding the stock. Now, they have given their senior managers 15.3 million Safaricom shares, valued at 302 million shillings. Shares form part of the compensation due to the staff for meeting or exceeding performance targets. During the year, 12.4 million shares were bought by the trust at a cost of 489 million shillings. Additionally, 15.3 million shares, historically valued at 519 million, vested and were exercised by eligible staff. The trust currently holds 11.5 million shares, valued at 416 million shillings for staff. See, so Safaricom is the most profitable company, not just in Kenya, but in the region. And of course, you look at that and see its leadership team has to be really, really focused on making sure that the company keeps growing. And when they keep growing, it means that they get rewarded. So the bonus scheme for Safaricom includes, not is only, it includes offering them shares. So the company buys its own shares from the market and allocates them to staff, and then you have 5 years. After 5 years, you can choose to sell off your stock, but bonus ni kaa hapa kwa kampuni, endelea kufanya kazi, alafu kula shares. Si kitu mzuri?
Ndio, sana.
Kitu mzuri bwana. Siti?
Yeah, there are many stories, my friend. There are very many stories. However,
yes,
let me choose one which has some happiness to it. Okay?
Yes.
Now, please do not shoot me when I read the headlines.
Okay.
We wait for the story.
No, I'm telling you. There's a lady in Mombasa. Her name is MM. Remember I told you this story? Okay? And I'm going, and I'll explain why it is I'm saying so. It brings a little joy. The headline I'd read was, ostracized, attacked, iron mother of 3 stands for her 2 gay children.
Yes.
Right? This lady's name is not mentioned. She's called MM. She's a mother of 3. And she has been ostracized, all manner of graffiti on her walls, anything you can think of negative, because 2 of her daughters are gay. One openly comes out. The son doesn't have any such tendencies or inclinations, or doesn't describe himself in any of these letters.
Okay.
Now, the reason why this story touches me is when the older daughter came out and said that she was gay, she was gang raped. And ostensibly, the report says that to rectify this wrong, that clearly something was not right with her.
So let's reset it.
Yes, let's reset it. It's utter madness. Why people are not arrested for this one, but that's a different story. Okay? But the defense that the mother comes to in recognizing that, look, My daughter has taken this. The daughter is, by the way, now she's 35 years old, okay? Swimming instructor, does coaching. She lives what you call a very normal life.
Right.
Okay? She's active on social media. Now, it's like the hope was that the mother would condemn her. This is something the mother has refused to do. She stands by her children and says, if that is the way God made my child, then that is the way the child is. And
it's my child.
My child. It doesn't budge. It doesn't move. That is my child. And her public her opinion on that particular subject is simply that, and she doesn't elaborate on it. Why I picked up this story is because every time we find differences, people who are different from us, our reaction is to ostracize them or to treat them badly, not as though they're different or to understand. We never start from the point of view of let's understand why this person is the way they are. No, we start by using some standards that we have, often hypocritical, and we condemn them immediately. And it's heartwarming when a mother decides to take a position that clearly runs against the grain of what the community she lives in believes, but she stands and says, no. You may write graffiti on my wall, you may insult me as I walk by, but this is the position that I have taken as far as my children go. Even the younger daughter is gay. She says, that is my position and these are my children.
They are my children.
They are my children. That's it. Done. Yes.
What's the community, besides graffiti on the walls and all, what do they do to the woman herself, the mother?
It's, apart from writing, writing really nasty words, it's ostracizing them. You see, the community she comes from is predominantly Christian.
Okay.
And the people who subscribe to the faith do not believe that this is the right thing. So, but beyond ostracizing and writing graffiti on her wall, she hasn't been harassed. She's just been intimidated.
Those ones,
by the way, those are
into church,
those are much worse. Much worse.
It's actually worse.
Walk into church and you sit by yourself.
People move and go and sit elsewhere.
Yeah, you're trying to go and buy something and people just don't want to sell it to you.
Must be heavy.
And then her daughter converted to Islam. Now, Islam categorically states.
The older daughter or the younger
older daughter? The younger daughter is more closeted. She doesn't come out like her older sister. You see, this story brings out this subject that we had before of LGBTQI. And that particular labeling and story also brings out how we manage differences between us, how we manage people who are in a minority but are completely different from the bulk of the people. Yes. And our tolerance or our understanding of it also speaks volumes of who we actually are. Yes.
That's a big
Something
story.
to be said for her resolve, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Standing up for your children is a big one. You had another headline. Just give us to us in 30 seconds.
Women borrowers fail to service loans. Now, this is a story. Auditor Kadungu.
Women borrowers fail to service loans.
Yes.
Story?
It's because it's the women's fund, no?
This was flagged out by the Auditor General, all right? And this is from Women Enterprise Fund beneficiaries.
Of course, it's the headline just
The headline
gives
makes
you...
it seem as though of the people who borrow money, it's the women.
If you lend the money to a woman, she's
again, it's that fund, the fund. It's women fund, the borrowers from that fund, not the women who borrowed from the fund. No.
Okay.
But you know something?
So the fund has a very high non-performing loan book.
It does.
Okay.
It does. But many of the things, why it's flagged it, some of these things that bring about this, but the interests and travel allowances.
Yeah, it's management. The admin.
Yes, yes.
Do you know anyone who's ever gone to borrow money from the Women Enterprise Fund? Or the Youth Enterprise Fund, or the Wezo Fund?
I don't. I don't. I only know people who worked for the Kazi kwa Vijana. Yes.
And they got paid?
Sometimes, yes, they got paid.
7 a.m., time for the news.
Spice up your life.
morning. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. 53 students of Kisumu Primary School in Kangemi, Nairobi are still admitted in hospital after police officers lobbed tear gas at them during yesterday's protest. The management of the hospital is now calling on well-wishers to pay the 120,000 shillings medical expenses. Police officers who were engaging demonstrators lobbed tear gas at the school after protesters allegedly ran to hide into the school compound. Here are parents who went to pick their children.
Watupea peace. Tuko na watoto kwa shule na wanakuja kuharibu mpaka shule. Tumetoka na hao wote wawili. Watupea na amani. Mbona serikali inapiga watoto wadogo?
The incident has been condemned by many, with the police being blamed for mishandling the situation. Kenya Human Rights Commission now wants IPOA to investigate the matter, especially officers accused of using excess force. Makueni Governor Mutula Kilonzo has asked IPOA to investigate the killing of a young man during yesterday's protest. About 6 people were reported to have been killed in Mlolongo, Emali and Kitengela. And the blame game between the government and the opposition La Umoja coalition is expected to continue. This after Interior CS Kithure Kindiki vowed that he will arrest and take action against those who organized and participated in the protest that caused death and destruction of property. On the other hand, Azimio has insisted that it will continue with its demonstrations, with Odinga stating that it will be giving further directions on the next course of action after being forced to cancel the Kamkunji meeting yesterday.
This time around, there's no moving on until Ruto shows a readiness to listen to and respect the people. People deserve a deal, not bullets and tear gas. Kenyans clearly understand that if they let Ruto get away with his present display of disrespect, dictatorship and contempt for the people, he will try to get away with many other bad things.
In his statement, CS Kithure Kindiki described yesterday's event as shameful, further accusing Azimio leaders of organizing the demos that has caused major loss for the country. Investigations against those involved in cases of violence, murder and destruction of property is ongoing. Azimio had planned to address Kenyans at Kamkunji grounds after the protest, but postponed the meeting as Raila claimed that he had received intelligence reports that the government had planned to send youths to disrupt the meeting.
We received intelligence of a most heinous plan by Kenya Kwanza to ferry armed goons who would attack peaceful attendees of a rally in Kamkunji. These goons had expressed orders to shoot directly into the crowd while enjoying police protection. Our crew, who had been sent to set up the stage at Kamkunji, were attacked and their equipment damaged.
And Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says Azimio leader Raila Odinga and fellow leaders in the coalition will get tired and stop with their protest, citing the example of protests in Nigeria against the government due to the rise in cost of living after the removal of subsidies on petroleum products, which were later suspended. Mudavadi has made it clear that time will come when Raila himself will tire and give the government a chance to serve Kenyans.
Juzi Nigeria walikuwa kisema wanaandamana kwa sababu serikali ya Nigeria ambayo inatoa mafuta, sisi hatuna mafuta, lakini wakatoa kile wanaita subsidy. Watu waliandamana juzi kule Nigeria, si wamepoa. Kwa hivyo hata hapa mimi naona hivi karibuni Raila atachoka.
In an interview with radio stations from the coast region, Mudavadi has criticized Azimio leaders, calling them hypocritical and selfish politicians for failing to provide an alternative method to finance the 2023 fiscal budget instead of increasing taxes as proposed by the Kenya Kwanza government.
Huu ni unafiki. Wanatuelekeza kwa barabara ya unafiki. Wanatudanganya kwamba kuna njia nyingine. Sasa wewe ukiuliza Raila hapa, wewe Raila, tupatie mpangilio yako ya kututoa kwa hii shimo. Nakumbuka kwa maandamano yao yote hawajatoa alternative. Alikuwa amesema we shall produce an alternative budget statement. Alitoa, hakutoa na hatatoa kwa sababu hana.
And Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has condemned the acts of vandalism and destruction of public infrastructure that occurred during the Azimio protest. Murkomen stated that his office has taken immediate action by contacting the Office of the Director of Criminal Investigations to investigate and apprehend those responsible for the unlawful acts. He emphasized that the importance of identifying and bringing to justice individuals captured on the CCTV cameras. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
Spice FM, Nakuru.
All right, getting into it on Thursday morning. Traffic is busy on the Eastern Bypass, and you'll see some of that coming from North Airport Road, heading out towards Outer Ring. Speaking of which, that's pretty busy. There's traffic coming in from Manyanja Road. It's also coming in heavy on Juja Road and Kangundo Road. The Thika Superhighway, heavy with traffic past Survey out towards Pangani at the underpass, and it's starting to build on Kiambu Road, right past the DCI out then towards Muthaiga Square. Further away, beyond on the Thika Superhighway, coming in from Kenyatta University, traffic is pretty heavy here. We're looking at it also building on Limuru Road. We'll probably see some coming off of United Nations Avenue in a short while. This is all a look-see kind of thing, at least for now. James Gishoro building up as you get towards Waiaki Way. Waiaki Way is going to get busy as you get out towards Westlands at the roundabout that was. All right, Uhuru Highway also busy at your different junctions, coming in from the Nyayo Stadium roundabout and then out towards Haile Selassie at the junction. Let's keep an eye on things and see how it opens up through towards 7:30 when traffic hour starts officially. Let's talk on Spice FM KE on Twitter.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room.
7 how are you doing? Kenya's biggest conversation enters the second hour. We're live on Spice FM, KTN Home, YouTube and Facebook. Colgate is reminding you to help bring a smile to a child's face. Okay? So they have identified some 30 communities that they've decided, okay, let's actually help these communities to benefit from water, because those communities don't have easy access to safe drinking water. We talk about, Article 43 of the Constitution, economic and social rights, you have a right to housing, to water, to sanitation, to good health. But there are people who actually don't have this. Sanitation, water, not good access to it.
Or zero.
Zero access, right? And yes, as the government is putting in plans to do whatever it wants to do, okay, there are children who today need to go to school, and they will not be able to go to school because first they have to go and fetch water. Or even when they go to school, one of the things that they're required to do is, when you come to school tomorrow morning, come with a jerrycan of water, because we need water in the school. Now, how about we help them? All you need to do is buy a tube of Colgate, and this is at Naivas supermarket. Once you do that, leave the rest to Colgate. They have identified the schools, the communities, working with their partners. They'll go and sink wells in these areas, and up to 150,000 people are going to benefit from this. It's a good thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Very good. It's Thursday. It's Justice Thursday. Every Thursday we have a conversation that touches on justice, and this is how we can promote justice and easy access to justice. Today we want to talk about children, and we are joined by a forensics expert at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, who is in the Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit, Detective Lawrence Okoh. Detective, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Karibu sana afande.
Thank you so much.
Sisi tukato hapa hatuna mambo mingi.
Why you swallowing saliva?
Unajua.
No, that is Eric now trying to show respect.
Okay.
Unajua mkubwa.
Sisi ni wananchi ambao tunapenda kutii sheria. Yes.
You get this a lot, right?
Yes.
And people just know you're a cop.
That's it. Tone.
Go a couple of knees down. Hivi mkubwa namna gani? Unajua ni jua tu ndio mingi. Karibu sana.
In this period, baridi ndio mingi.
Yeah, baridi ndio mingi sana mkubwa. Everything has to end with mkubwa.
Yes.
Ndio afande. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you so much.
As we're going to talk about a lot of things, of course, we want to understand who's a digital forensics expert. But before you tell us that, CT has the day's proverb.
Our proverbs for the whole of this week ending tomorrow are from Sudan. Northern Sudan, or we call Sudan, Khartoum, Sudan, as opposed to Juba, Sudan. Okay? Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Yes.
Okay. Kachero.
Yes.
This proverb, when you hear it, how do you interpret it?
Well, love for something makes a man blind or deaf. At times, you find that you can like something, and the actions you take or what you do with that thing, the repercussion can be very, very bad. And in this sense, I bring the child in the picture. At times, you find that some people are so much attracted to children that they want to abuse children. And we have laws and legal frameworks that can address that. And when it comes to light, it can bring out the character of that person in a very bad picture. And connecting with the conversation that we have today, I say that when a pedophile get into contact with a child, they abuse the children, and they are hiding behind technology or the internet. So thinking that the world is blind, they cannot see, they cannot detect. And through the DCI, the National Police Service, we have what it takes to unmask, because it is not written on the faces of these people that they are child abusers. So I think the proverb matched very well with our conversation today.
Right.
Yes.
Who is a digital forensics expert?
Well, a digital forensic expert is officer, that person who is using forensic tools to analyze and extract evidence from the digital or electronic gadgets, like the images and videos and even chat logs, so that they can be presented in court as evidence. And it is an expert area that there are those special tools that you use. You can't just copy.
You can't just take a phone and look at it and you'll become...
And just share or download and say that is evidence. Yeah, there is that aspect of sound extraction using specialized tools.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means that you need to be an IT expert.
Exactly.
First.
Yeah.
So is that what you trained in?
Yes. My background is in IT. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in IT from the Jomo Kenyatta of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT. And I'm now majoring on cyber forensic and digital examination of evidence. Yes.
So when you say that there are specific tools that you'll use to extract this evidence from the digital gadgets, are these tools recognized in law?
Correct. There are tools that have been tested globally. They have been recommended by law enforcement authorities and recognized by the justice system as the correct tools to extract evidence and adduce in court soundly without changing anything. It will be the true image of exactly what is in that phone. So those tools are capable of extracting evidence from the gadget without any change, making any change. Yes.
So also listening.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be that it's after an offense has been committed that then you acquire the gadget that you extract. You can be suspecting, and one of the ways of confirming that what you're suspecting is actually happening is you start extracting the information as part of your intelligence gathering.
Yeah, there has to be a report for us to investigate. At times we have intelligence reports that we can just follow, and using the legal requirements, that is the rule of law, we have to get some legal orders to access a mobile phone. So we will apply for legal warrants and seize that gadget so that we can extract. And within that legal document, that is the court warrant, ordering me to access your phone and extract evidence or investigate that gadget, I have to specify what exactly I need from that phone. So there is also legal guidance in terms of forensic investigations.
So now, in the course of your work, what kind of cases are we looking at here, especially when this pertains to children? And then online, if we're looking at cybercrime and attacks on children, what kind of cases then do you cover?
Yeah, cases that have been facilitated or has been committed using technology. And to be specific on children, we have cases like cyberbullying. We have cases like people are recording children when they are being abused sexually, and when it is recorded, actually at times it is said within the law it is child pornography. But as the people working within this area, we are saying that children, because they don't have consent, it becomes a child abuse material. But now when we take you to court, then we go by the legal term child pornography. So there are those materials that are depicting children who are being sexually abused, and people are trading using this kind of materials. So we at the DCI, we are able to investigate this kind of cases. And if you look at the Children's Act 2022, it really captures and brings out this kind of crimes, like grooming, when someone just reach out to a child through the internet, start building trust, and then the child is able to meet this person outside the internet, then they are abused sexually. So the law also covers that and ensure that even without physically meeting this child and sexually communicating with this child, it is a crime. So if we find someone sending sexual messages to a child, we are able to punish that person, and with a crime that is in law, sexually communicating with a child. And also, when we find these people, we ensure that any child around that person is interviewed, because we are really uplifting the interest of children. to ensure that we protect them. They are vulnerable. So those kind of crimes, we get them. And
are there such cases, by the way? You know, we see these things in movies, you watch series, you watch Crime and Investigation Channel, and you see them, you know. In Kenya, we have talked about, you know, protecting our children online. The Communications Authority has that yearly program that, you know, let's protect our children online. But you now sit as a detective at DCI. Are there many cases of people actually using online platforms and digital gadgets to lure children, to exploit children in Kenya?
Correct.
They're there.
We have very, very many cases, and for sure I can tell you, and because these people, actually, when someone is enticing a child and abusing that child, a child will think it is normal. So the report will not come on time until it pops up maybe on Facebook, on these social media platforms. So we are working very closely with the international law enforcement authorities. We work closely with tech industries, and even tech industries, they have internal policies to fight child abuse or the security of children while they are using their applications. So people report to them.
How?
They, like this major social media, if you see a post, be it on WhatsApp, be it on Facebook, there is that the three dotted dots at the right top corner of every post. If you click on that, you are able to find support or report the page or report the post. So if you report that, you are able to actually get a menu options of if you want to report hate speech, if you want to report child abuse or sexually related case, you choose that option. So that industry or that electronic service provider will actually view your report, because someone can report maliciously or accidentally. You report a page that you say this is a child abuse material, this is child, but in real case it is not. So they have to conduct the internal review of your report. If it is a child abuse material, they make it available for law enforcement authorities to investigate. And these major industries, there is an organization in the United States of America called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So it is a law in the US that all these electronic service providers, any case, any report that is touching on a child is pushed to that organization. Then it is made available to the people taking care of children, the researchers, the law enforcement authorities, and even counselors. So as National Police Service or the DCI, we pull these reports. And I want to tell you that we get an average of 52 cases in a day. That 52
every day.
Every day.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you categorize these cases?
Yeah. These cases are reported from different platforms. Okay. As I said, when you report, it goes to that database. So it comes as this child abuse material, the child pornography, people sharing, people storing this kind of recordings in the cloud. And these platforms belong to these electronic service providers. So if they detect, they report. So you find child abuse material. We have sextortion, people who are paying and earning out of the sale of child abuse material. Because you realize when the government strengthened the system of protecting children online, people tend to buy and these things from elsewhere that they feel the system is still not able to detect them. So through the internet, they are able to source this kind of materials at a fee.
So take me through this. If I go onto the social media platform, I see a post or a page, I click on the three dots, it opens up and it tells me report this. And they'll ask you report why. And I say maybe it involves a child. If I click on it, they say, all right, thank you, it's under review and something is being done about it. Is that when you are alerted?
Yes.
Or do I have to also come and alert the DCI?
Yeah, we have also, if you are aware, because just most recently, the judiciary, that is the Chief Justice Chief Justice Martha Koome, launched a training handbook on investigations and prosecution of online child sexual exploitation and abuse. And this is to standardize how these cases are being handled, so that you find that when a case is reported, some cases are detected when the professionals are interacting with the children or offering a specific service to a child, be it a counselor, counseling a child that they feel is stressed or traumatized. Then through that, they are able to detect that this child has been abused online, and there are those images of that child that are circulating over the internet. So that person can report directly to the DCI. Even a parent can detect going through the phone, because these phones belong to the parents. They are the ones who have given them to the children. And when they access that phone, they find there is suspicious communication, or they see these pictures or images of the children being shared online. They can directly come and report. But as a strategy, a strategic initiative, we are partnering to ensure that even those unreported cases are acted upon. So the judiciary has really strengthen what is happening through standardizing and making sure every actor knows what they are able to do, and the reports can reach us.
Okay.
Yes.
There are also cases where this communication has taken place via the mobile phone, and then has escalated to the point where minors then meet with these abusers. And unfortunately, very many things happen thereafter. Sexual violence, rape, getting into a relationship with an underage. Many things happen thereafter. Are some of these cases brought to your attention, and then how do you deal with them after that?
Yeah, at times we find a report or just a circulation over the social media, and DCI is tagged. We are able to trace this phone. It is possible because there are those digital footprints, and you can trace. And what we have discovered is that children who are running away from home, who are going missing, nowadays they don't just go missing. You find that they already know they are going to meet someone. It is only, and they are going to meet where, because they have been directed through the mobile phone. So every clip that we see or circulates around is showing that a child being abused somewhere, or children being abused. So we usually, using that investigating this kind of clips, we ensure that we trace, identify the victims, and rescue, and also we ensure that we arrest the perpetrators for justice to prevail. But behind that, we usually dig deep to ensure that every other offense that was committed against that child is addressed. So we don't just investigate those clips. we trace the children, we interview them, we search around, we also identify other potential victims and interview them just to ensure that every child is taken care of in the course of our investigations.
Forgive my naivety, Detective. Are you saying that in this country there are such things that are happening, that somebody gets onto digital platforms, gets into contact with a child, and they start sharing nudity, for example, with children, and they solicit nudity from children?
Yes.
And they're Kenyans? And they're in Kenya?
Kenyans, they're in Kenya, and internet is in Kenya. These are internet-facilitated crimes, and people use internet all over.
And these are adults above, I like to say above 20 years old.
Yes, who are adults. So, sorry, when the cases we have cases that offenders are Kenyans. We have cases where offenders or suspects are foreigners. And there is a case that was in Mombasa where a house help was jailed for life for abusing a minor who was under 5 years. She was jailed for life. And the child was being abused sexually, recorded and shared with some people. Then she's paid. So that is how serious it is. You find that the people who are abusing children are the people we trust. We
Get
have
close
them.
to them.
Yes. The people who are handling our children at home. So you find that there is no mark that this person can abuse a child, so we don't have to give him access to children. They are using technology to hide. And initially, or those days when we were very young, you find parents could tell us, don't talk to a stranger. And because of technology, strangers are making use of technology. And the same thing should go on, and the parents should go ahead and talk to children and make children understand that don't just give information to strangers, because we have so many applications that are bringing strangers into our houses. People have friend request, but we don't know them. You find people, children are competing, I have how many followers, in the name of friends, but they really don't know them. So these people are taking that advantage, and they are hiding behind technology to reach children for their own reason. So these cases are there. Most recently, we unmasked a Kenyan who was really playing a role of a coach, a mentor in the society. And even the parents entrusted this person with children. Children could identify with him. And some children were also able to even stay with him. Parents, when children at home, how do we handle children, manage children when they are at home? So this person, using that stature of being a coach, he was able to attract and even groom the whole society to believe he's mentoring children. Then, in the long run, he was abusing these children, recording, posting, and we traced and arrested him, and we were able to identify. So if a football team has got 11 children, those 11 children are potential victims. But now you find within a society the love of football. People and children wants to join and be part of the team. So the whole society can be a victim.
I would like to hear how your unit then is able to investigate such a case. For example, where the reporting comes in, what you do, and the kind of evidence that you adduce in court. But let's take a break first. We'll continue a break first. 25 minutes to 8. Police Detective Lawrence Okoh is from the DCI. He is a digital forensics expert from the unit that handles anti-human trafficking and child protection. He's here today because we are talking about protecting our children online and making sure that the online and digital spaces are safe for children. What the DCI is doing about that.
Faithless. Its second episode comes out today. It's Kenya's latest original title from Showmax, and we want to know now what happens next. The bag of money has been found by Esther and her friends, and they're debating, what do we do with it? How is this story going to open up? How will you find out about it? Log on to showmax.com today, subscribe, and watch.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
This is one of the hottest show that we can ever miss in the morning, and it's a show that really gives a real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Nduthak, nice meeting you. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again.
Character is like pregnancy, you cannot hide it. You know, people hiding here and there, you know, but after 2-3 months, 5 months, now you realize, so that is why the attitude that you were showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say. You cannot pickpocket a naked man.
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
No comment.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi at 13 today, highs of 21 and lows of 12. It's sunny at 12 in Nakuru, highs of 25. And we'll see highs of 21 in a cloudy Nyeri at 14. It's partly sunny in Eldoret at 12, highs of 24, and it'll come back down to lows of 12. While at 23, Mombasa is cloudy, it'll go to highs of 27. 27 will be the high in a partly sunny Malindi at 24. And at 19, Kisumu is sunny, highs of 28 and lows of 17 today. Kakamega will see lows of 15. It's currently sunny at 17 and it'll go to highs of 27. Partly sunny conditions in Kampala at 17, highs of 26. And Dar es Salaam will see highs of 30. It's mostly cloudy at 23. It's 4 degrees and clear in Johannesburg, highs of 16 and lows of 2, while Lagos is mostly cloudy at 24. It'll go to highs of 30. 33 will be the high in a mostly clear Kinshasa at 19. What does traffic look like right about now? We're starting to build up earlier and we see probably some more movement in other parts. We're looking at Jogo Road, which is significantly busier than it was before. Heavy traffic on the Thika Superhighway is contained beyond Survey and then out towards Pangani at the underpass. On Kiambu Road, we're looking at it just past the DCI headquarters. It's heavy on Limuru Road coming in from Ruaka and then joining through towards Muthaiga. Also, we're seeing a lot of movement on Gong Road today. And it's heavy then coming out to Outer Ring from many parts of the city. A very different day from yesterday. North Airport Road busy going out towards Bakassi from Cabanas and then through towards the Eastern Bypass. It's starting to build up on Magadi Road, and we'll see that spill over to Langata Road in a short while. So just plan ahead. Now that you know what's going on, let us know what's happening where you are. Let's talk on Spice FM KE on Twitter.
Are you ready? Okay.
Spice FM. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Protect them from all the dangers that are lurking on digital platforms. Detective Lawrence Okoh from the DCI is our guest today on this Justice Thursday, talking about what they do at the Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit. Detective, you're telling us about this particular example. Somebody comes to a community, builds trust in the community, shows the community that, they are trustworthy, they are mentoring children, they are nurturing their talent, but what they are actually doing is exploiting these children. recording them and selling the content on digital platforms. Now, in such a case, how does the DCI come in? Are you able to detect before a parent notices and alerts you, or somebody in the community alerts you? And how do you pick it up? How do you actually build evidence against such an individual?
Yeah, so when we get reports, DCI, actually, the role of the police is to protect, and we protect children. We prevent from occurring, and DCI established the Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit to actually address children cases. So we come in when it has been reported, when we have intelligence that children are being abused. So to prevent, we have at the unit, we have a strategic plan. We have mandates that we work with. And even the staff, we have a very strong, enlightened, and expertised workforce. And our officers, the team I work with, and we work with at the unit, are experts at different levels. We have officers who are expert in counseling, in psychology. We have officers who are digital forensic experts like myself, and we have officers who are really focusing on matters to do with child trafficking. So we have a framework. We have pillars like integrity as a core pillar, a core value, professionalism, teamwork, and partnership. So through partnership, we are able to get this report.
So someone reports that there's something that's happening in this community, and we suspect so and so.
Yes.
Now, of course, by the time the DCI is landing on so and so, maybe they have deleted all the evidence from their gadgets.
Yes.
All right. And of course, if the case was that they were recording and selling or sharing this elsewhere, are you able to unmask that entire network and get to know this is where this person was sharing with X number of people, they were making money out of it, or whatever else they were doing?
Yes, we are able to, because these evidence are not actually stored only on the offender's phone. If he was sharing with a child and that case is reported, part of the evidence is from the phone that was used by that child. If it was on cloud, the servers can be in a different location. So that's why I was saying, through partnership and through cooperation, we work. Internet does not know border. So you find us working very well with the international law enforcement authorities and organizations, like now the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And we pull those reports, review them, and make sure, identify the crimes that have been committed using the analysis from those reports. Then if a Facebook account was reported, and we are given that this post was done by on this Facebook account, using this Facebook account, we are able to liaise with Facebook, that is under the umbrella company Meta, to give us the login details, the geolocation of that person, and the evidence, because when it is deleted, it has just been deleted from the public face. But within that server, it is there, it is existing. So we are able to use legal requirements, obtain court orders, serve the industry. If it is Facebook, we serve Facebook, requesting those login details and the evidence itself. So we will have the logging details, which will contain IP address that is attached to that gadget, and was attached to that gadget when it was posting that kind of clip. We are able to trace to the internet service provider that provided internet for that IP address, and request for IP address data from attached to that gadget or the file that was reported. And we are able to identify the specific phone that was used or computer that was attached to that IP address at the time when this person was posting this kind of clip. Then we are able to now also get the number, mobile phone number, the account details. If it was a phone, he logged into his Facebook account using that gadget. And of course, if it is my account in this space, it will be obviously my account. You can't access my account. So we are able to put someone, the right person, behind that gadget, because we first of all trace the gadget and get hold of the person who was actually using that gadget at that time. Because we have some shared gadgets. If it is a workplace, when someone is not on duty, we can tell this person was not on duty, but his account was accessed by someone who was on duty. So we will use the physical evidence like the logging, check-in, when you're signing in for work, signing out. We use that to corroborate our evidence and actually put that person behind that keyboard to ensure that we arrest the right person and charge the right person.
If we look at child trafficking, which you mentioned is an issue, I mean, obviously there's departments set up to deal with that. How then would you begin? We, a few weeks ago, had a conversation about missing children in Kenya, and a certain percentage of the children that go missing can be attributed to child trafficking. How would you even begin if a child goes missing, if a child is picked up from a playground, from their outside their home? Where would you even begin to start to trace the whereabouts of this child, or who could have possibly taken the child, with the science that you use, and then it's of course brought to you? I mean, where would you even begin?
Yeah, when a child goes missing from home, and nowadays we say children, they just don't go missing. When they are leaving home or running away from home, they already know who they are going to meet and where they are going to meet that person. So at times, they have been advised, leave your phone behind because it will be traced. So we will visit that premise, do a search, do interview about this child, the hobbies. If it is writing, we can even look at the novels this child is reading, and we find the notes. We will always remember there is a law, this principle of every contact leaves a trace. Yes, low-card principles. So using that, we are able to come visit where the child was staying before he or she went missing, the person he was engaging with, the behavior the child was depicting before she went missing, and we are able to search. And we have had such cases. Like, for example, we had a case, a child left here, went missing, and for some time. And when the report reached us, we were able to trace this child somewhere between Mozambique, Malawi, and Tanzania border. And we brought the child back. But we traced the child. We were able to trace how the child went missing because...
How old was this child?
Yes.
How old was this child?
The child was around 13 years when she went missing. So...
And the person that was behind this, had taken some time to actually convince this child to leave home.
Yes, there were several attempts because the child started by showing interest in studying in South Africa.
Okay.
Then, because she was schooling, of course, the parents would say, you have to wait. So we got the report. We were able to share information with our other law enforcement authorities from other territories. And the child was intercepted going to South Africa. But from just to explain that we were able to get some information even before we got the child. There were some maps, notes that were advising this child how to live without traveling documents and without being traced. The child was advised, you leave the phone behind, you leave everything behind, but this is the map.
What was the intent?
Yes.
What was the intent of the person who took this child with this child? Obviously was not going to take them to school.
Yeah. Trafficking, there is that aspect of exploitation. So until a child is... people traffic children for different reasons, and until it is done, you can't tell the reason. But trafficking can be intercepted before the child is exploited, so that you know. But mostly, several cases that we get is sexual exploitation.
So the person who is, for example, behind an example like the one you're just giving us, is not in the country.
Yes.
They want to get this child outside the country and take them elsewhere.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So how did they get in touch with this child in the first place?
So social media, we remember the stranger danger thing?
Yep.
People hide or people send friend requests. People play games that if you are playing with another person you don't know, at the end of it, you can be asked to give your details.
Yeah.
So if the person behind that game is interested in trafficking, then they will use the information you have supplied to convince you and to engage you even outside the game.
Right.
So that you are able to give more information, build trust, and is able to make you believe that you can get good things when you meet physically. So it is grooming, which is also covered under Children's Act 2022. So social media, the internet, people...
That's the first contact point.
Yes.
And then the grooming happens systematically and over time.
Correct.
How can we detect this? How can you, as a parent or as an adult who is with this child, detect it?
When you have a child, some parents are so close to their children, they can talk, they can see the change of behavior. A child leaving a family program that they watch together, going to the bedroom with a mobile phone until she is called to come and eat. When she is called or he is called, he is not coming. You find the child is going away from the family. And if it's too much on the mobile phone, the screen addiction, until even the grades, if you have, you can tell even with the grades, the child is not doing homework, complaint from schools, the child did not do assignment, the child is at home, you realize the child, at the time people are taking supper together, she is not there, but she's within the house. When people retire to sleep, you find the child inside the net is still using a mobile phone. So that means there's some engagement. So you need to, as a parent, get to know what exactly that the child is doing with the phone and try to even engage the child and see what forums. Because nowadays you find that there are several applications. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, But children will not be on that popular platform where even parents are. So they tend to use this other platform. So even the number of screen control that the child has employed, you can tell what is he hiding when the password is like 3 levels. You put fingerprints, you put face, then you feed them. That is when you can access what they are doing. So with that, it can tell you for sure there is something
that they are hiding.
Yes. And these people will prepare these children so much so that they are told, don't make someone to know what we are talking.
Officer Okoh, before this communication explosion that we have on the planet, these pedophiles and all these malcontents existed.
Yes.
How did you deal with this? The question I'm asking is, outside social media, do you have situations where people call in, parents call in, parents report, adults report?
Yeah. People come and report. People, at times, they can miss because they just don't know the manifestation. They can report missing child. My child went out and went missing. So people come and report. But when we interview and do statements, we are able to see the line the investigation is taking. So reports are coming, and they can report anywhere at police stations, and they can also we have internal mechanism, like you talked of Communications Authority of Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah, they developed an app that you can use to report anything on social media or on phone, called KSAT. So it is downloadable, and you are able to report any type of cyber threat or case or incident on your mobile phone.
It's interesting that you mention that because of the forensics then that you use, you're able to pinpoint down to the very point at which an individual was at perpetrating a crime. That's what we are saying here, against children.
Yeah.
So perhaps a lot of people don't report because they do not think anything can be done about it. I mean, after all, somebody tried on a phone, and goes, okay, so what is going to be done? But then you're encouraging folks to come out and say, because you actually are able to trace and find out what really happened.
Yes. So when we get reports, yes, those reports, we analyze them and make sure we are able to trace what exactly is the crime that is committed against this child. So we first launch investigation based on reports that we receive. Yes. And when we investigate, we are not just looking for one. We investigate with open mind. We investigate cases. We have several acts that are protecting children in this country, and we really look into them. Like trafficking, we have Counter Trafficking in Persons Act that is covering trafficking. We have Sexual Offences Act that is really focusing on sexual offences, and also other
Children's Act, of course.
Yes, Children Act that was reviewed and is now containing the internet aspect. Yes.
Detective, this has been a very, very insightful conversation, and we thank you very much for coming. It's good to know that our DCI has the capacity, and what you say is fichua kwa DCI. We see you. The DCI Twitter handle says fichua kwa DCI, because DCI have the capacity to actually investigate, trace, and solve these crimes. Asante sana for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Detective Lawrence Okoh is from the DCI. He is a digital forensics expert, and he's been telling us about how to protect our children from harm while using the internet. Good morning, 8 a.m.
Sugar is my
morning. This is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. Jubilee's Standard Group, through its acting leader, Sabina Chege, has condemned acts of violence, distraction and looting that dominated Azimio protest. In a statement, Sabina termed deplorable acts of lawlessness as opposition supporters across the country held demonstrations to express dissatisfaction with some of the government's policies, particularly on tax and cost of living. Demonstrators in some parts of the country resorted to wanton destruction of private and public property, with road infrastructure bearing the brunt of the criminal acts. In Lalong, for instance, protesters pulled down barriers erected on the Nairobi Express and destroyed flower vases on the multi-billion road infrastructure. The chairperson of the Council of Governors, Ednah, has fiercely condemned the vandalism and destruction of properties, including the Nairobi Expressway, witnessed during the demonstrations. The Kirinyaga governor added that what happened was not demonstrations but economic sabotage. She said this was intended counterproductive to the purported cause, terming the actions as tigery cloth in constitutional gap. Waiguru wondered how the destruction of public property was going to bring down the cost of living. And the Federation of Kenya Employers has condemned the ongoing anti-government demonstrations, warning that the protests are worsening the country's economic situation. In a statement, FKE Executive Director Jacqueline Muga called on the government and opposition allied leaders to embrace social dialogue and pursue a win-win solution to avert the ongoing destruction of property, loss of life and vandalism. Muga says the ongoing political acrimony is also turning away potential investors. Still on the same end, Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has condemned the acts of vandalism and destruction of public property that occurred during the Azimio protest. Murkomen stated that his office has taken immediate action by contacting the Office of the Director of Criminal Investigations to initiate investigations and apprehend those responsible for the unlawful acts. He emphasized the importance of identifying and bringing to justice individuals captured on the CCTV cameras. The demonstrations that occurred in various major towns throughout the country resulted in significant damage to infrastructure, particularly in Nairobi, where protesters vandalized the expressway in Malindi. Additionally, clashes between the protesters and the police led to substantial damage on certain roads as they engaged in confrontations and running battles. To prevent similar acts of vandalism in the future, Murkomen emphasized the need for organizers to provide assurances to the authorities that their demonstrations will not lead to any distraction. And 12 more bodies have been exhumed at the Shakahola forest in Kilifi County, where the search for victims of a suspected starvation cult is ongoing. The death toll now stands at 372 after phase 4 of the exhumation exercise kicked off Monday this week. Coastal Regional Commissioner Rodo Nyancha said that no new arrests have been made in connection with the deaths, hence the total number of arrests remain at 37. Onyancha also reported that the number of rescued people so far remains at 95, while the DNA samples collected are at 253. The exhumation exercise is expected to continue today. And a 30-member business delegation from Saudi Arabia is in the country to explore bankable investment opportunities and the establishment of more joint investment projects between Riyadh and Nairobi. The projects will fall under the energy, agriculture, ICT, telecommunications, financial services, transport, infrastructure, tourism, water, blue economy, and mining sectors. On the sidelines of the visit, a Kenya-Saudi Arabia business-to-business forum was held with the aim of forging strategic alliances with like-minded businesses from the two countries.
It's a clear demonstration that indeed Kenya is an attractive investment destination, and indeed that there is something happening in Kenya and the Saudi investors have already figured it out.
We provide the marketplace, the opportunities, the demand. Also what our Kenyan partners and friends provide is the capabilities and also, more important, the supply. We're enjoying in Saudi Kenyan tea, Kenyan coffee, and so many other Kenyan products, and we want to see more Kenyan products in Saudi, like even livestock, meats and others, and I'm sure we will work together with your government and also with the related entities, Invest Kenya and also the chambers, to boost the investments and trade between our two countries.
And former President Uhuru Kenyatta is in Democratic Republic of Congo to attend the second Executive Consultative Technical Team meeting. Kenyatta, who is the facilitator of the East African Community-led Nairobi peace process, was received in Goma by the country's Minister of State of Regional Integration, Mbusa He meets various stakeholders and international organizations seeking to deliberate on key issues geared towards enhancing both the Luanda and Nairobi peace process are also present. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people, and we share the same umbilical cord.
It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed. We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing politics of conmanship, and even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax, then you double.
In politics, there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust.
I hope it was okay.
Traffic in parts of the city this morning still building up at a few minutes after 8 o'clock. And let's look at what's happening on the Thika Superhighway. It's actually not too terrible. Just past surveys where you see the most of it, where it's really heavy. The service lanes before that will do you good. Think about using them. Kiambu Road is packed as you get towards Muthaiga Square. We're also looking at heavy traffic then on the other side of things. Outer Ring, coming in from Kangundo, Juja, Manyanja, going into the city, touching on Jogoo Road a little bit. And let's look further east. There's Lusaka Road, there's Lunga trying to spill over towards the Likoni interchange. That still continues. North Airport Road towards the Eastern Bypass is pretty busy. And we're looking at traffic also coming in from Langata Road. Magadi Road is also giving through towards Langata Road, and it will continue on Gong Road as well for some time. All manageable at the moment. Let's see what happens as we get closer to 8:30. Talk to us on Spice FM KE on Twitter, and let's keep things moving this morning.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room.
How you doing? Kenya's biggest conversation is on to the third hour, and also in this hour, if you have not, please do go to Naivas Supermarket or go to their e-commerce platform, their online platforms, shop and buy Colgate toothpaste. And this is important because every time you're buying Colgate, you're helping some 150,000 people get access to water. Don't take it for granted that you have access to water this morning. There are people who don't have free and easy access to clean drinking water. But Colgate has decided, you know what, we can do something about it, all of us together. So buy Colgate. Part of the money that you use in buying Colgate will go towards this particular project. They've identified some 30 communities that can benefit from this particular round, and they're working with their partners on the ground. Those partners include experts in drilling wells. They will sink the well. They will make a well work and provide water to community. All you do is buy Colgate. The rest, leave it to Colgate. But people will access water. To get more information, go to colgate.ke, or you can go to their Facebook page, Colgate-Palmolive. That's Colgate-Palmolive. On Facebook, you get the details of the communities that are benefiting from this and how this is all working. Sawa? Sawa. This hour, we have a new guest who's joining us. CPA Dr. William Odwal is the Deputy Governor of which county? Siaya County. We know him very well. He was in the news just the other day. Big news all over, headlines. Dr. Odwal, karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
On the other end of your tribulations.
Yes, glad to be on the other end.
Karibu. We hope that seat is comfortable.
It is.
It only cost us 140 bob.
Right. You can say that again. Interesting. Yeah. I hope that we will discuss that at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will. City.
Yes.
Give the Deputy Governor today's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week, Your Excellency, from the country of Sudan, Northern Sudan, Khartoum, Sudan, not Juba, Sudan.
Khartoum, Northern, yes.
Northern, yes.
Yes.
Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Yes.
Say that again, City.
All right. I'm going to repeat this slowly.
Yes.
Love for something, not necessarily someone, makes a man blind and deaf.
Bwana DG, what do you think the Sudanese were saying with this proverb?
That's an interesting proverb. Love for something makes a man
blind and deaf.
Blind
Not blind or deaf. It's and. Both.
Yeah.
Blind and deaf.
Okay. I think if I interpret that proverb, it basically means that if you are passionate about something, then you'd go the full hog. You'd die for it. You would not care about the consequences, and you'd be prepared for the consequences.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll be prepared.
Yes.
To go blind, to go deaf.
Blind, you go deaf. You'd go in with your entire body.
Okay. Seems like that's what you did.
And I believe this is testament to what I have gone through these past couple of months. Fighting corruption in this country is not for the faint-hearted. You must be prepared to face the consequences. In fact, they say impunity fights back. In my case, the hunter became the hunted,
completely,
as it were.
The last time you were here,
yes,
you came even with documents, and you're telling us that you had unearthed
right
some activities that made you uncomfortable in operations of the county government.
Right.
And you had even taken this before the county assembly. No sooner had you said this,
submitted, yes,
than the county assembly also now began investigations into your own conduct.
Yes.
And it went all the way where a majority of members of the county assembly of Siaya voted to impeach you and remove you from office.
Yes.
Because they said that you had abused your office.
Mm-hmm.
It was a complete opposite, one against the other.
It's a paradox, to quite honestly. I mean, I look back and I worry for this country because good people are never celebrated. The assembly, in their own wisdom or lack of it, the 42 of them, you said majority, all of them, all of them voted to impeach me. Simply because I had challenged the status quo. And they came up with some vexatious and frivolous allegations against my person. One of the allegations was that I had used my office I actually had forced
and coerced staff to renovate my office to the tune of 18 million. The other one was that I had interfered, and I will only talk about the ones that even the Senate's committee debated on. The other one was that I'd interfered with the procurement of fertilizers and seeds. And there was also another one that I had bullied the chief finance officer. Allegations that were all dismissed. In fact, the interesting one and was that in the renovation of my office at 18 million, part of that renovation included purchase of furniture. And one of that furniture was a seat that I was sitting on that had cost the company, the county rather, 1.1 million Kenyan shillings. Goodness gracious.
That's some chair.
That's quite some chair, right? Yes. 1.1 million Kenyan shillings.
For a chair?
Oh my goodness.
How do you identify this chair?
First and foremost, I am not involved in procurement. I do not sign anywhere. I did not write any email. Neither did I even write. There was no communication from my end. All I said is that all I did was invite the chief officer, or rather the chief officer, the user department for governance, to come and look at my office because we had issues. The tiles were falling apart, the roof was leaking. It needed some repairs, including some furniture. I did not prescribe what kind of furniture they needed to bring to my office. I did not direct which supplier needed to supply, what price they needed to supply at. I was not involved in the procurement process. Remember, procurement is you advertise, you tender, then you go through evaluation, then you award. Then, they start working and then they submit an invoice and then it is paid.
So you're saying that you're not denying that the chair cost 1.1 million. What you're saying is that it was not you who ordered for it.
Well, if you look at the chair that cost 1.1 million, really, honestly, it would be crazy.
You sat on that chair.
I've sat on that chair. It's a standard chair. If it should cost not more than 200,000, if you ask me.
So there's nothing special about the chair?
Nothing special.
But it cost
1.1
million.
If it cost 1.1 million, yes.
It did.
It did cost 1.1 million.
Nothing economic about it?
Nothing. It
doesn't automatically start raising up after you've sat on it for too long?
No.
Nothing.
It doesn't massage you?
No, it doesn't massage you.
Okay.
It's normal, ordinary chair.
Okay.
And I have written post the Senate. I have written to EACC to move with speed and investigate circumstances under which that chair, besides the 18 million renovation, circumstances under which that chair was procured and how it ended up costing 1.1 million and whether that was value for our money. Of course, it's not value for our money.
18 million was actually used for renovations.
So 18 million was used for renovation.
18 million was indicated as being used for renovation.
Yes.
No, he says it
was used.
Indicated. Actually, that's the word.
You see,
18 million shillings was spent.
Yes.
The documentation regarding the renovation was that 18 million shillings was used.
Was spent.
Yes. Yes. And again, it's just normal, ordinary theft. This is theft, if you ask me.
Right.
And I am certain most of these characters are going to be apprehended once investigation is completed.
You detected very many things.
Yes.
In those initial days. You detected, for example, how Impress was being misused.
Yes.
How petty cash, what do you call that account?
Impressed.
The impressed account.
Yeah.
How it was being misused and money was just being
payroll.
withdrawn.
They were using payroll to siphon money. How are they diverting donor money into
other projects?
Impressed?
Yeah.
And how during the Assumption of Office Committee they spent withdrew 22 million, only spent 4 million. 18 million they stole.
During your swearing in?
Yes.
For both you and the governor?
Yes.
Okay. Had you detected this 18 million for renovations of your office?
No, I hadn't, because it happened. When did it happen? It happened
around the same time, I presume.
No. Remember when I started raising these issues, they started disengaging, and so towards January timeframe, because renovations happen in December. So I would have known between January and February. And during that time, most of the staff were no longer listening to me. Because remember, my relationship with governor had deteriorated. They would listen to me between when we joined in end of August through to end of November. December, January is when that relationship was now deteriorating. And I think most of those senior staff had instructions that they should not take directives from me. So I would
feed you information.
Yeah, so I would ask for documentation and I would not get, including even Impressed. One of the reasons why I was convinced that they were stealing is, yes, I could see abnormal withdrawals. And I could see that they were withdrawing 2, 5, 7, 8 times in a day.
Yeah.
And then I went further and I said, now I want to see these vouchers. You bring them to me. And they wouldn't bring them. And of course, I couldn't reprimand them because somehow they were getting instructions from elsewhere.
To do some of these things.
I
remember, Dr. Odol, when you were here.
Yes.
You were telling us of things that were happening even up to as recently as March.
Yes.
In terms of, these malpractices that you were detecting.
Right.
So if you're detecting malpractices in March, how are you unable to detect malpractice of the renovation within your office of 18 million shillings that was happening in December and January?
So
by April, May, you had not detected that the chair that you're sitting on had actually been procured for 1.2 million.
Yeah, the reason I had it was not easy for me to detect is because I was using IFMI statements. I'm an accountant by training, so if you give me an IFMI statement, I would be able to know that this payment has been made to XYZ. The reason I was not able to pick up my renovations for my office is because the supplier, even as we speak, has not been paid. So it didn't reflect in IFMI statement. So I would not have picked it up. Yeah.
What does the decision not to convict of impeachment then mean going forward? This all started because there's certain things that you flagged having gone on in the county.
Right.
Your severed relationship with the governor, or deteriorating relationship rather, not yet severed, right? What does it mean now going forward?
So, what it basically means, if you ask me, if I can answer it overall, what is important to the people of Siaya County is service to them, service delivery. We can swing this whichever way we want to swing it, but the most important and fundamental concern that we must address is how quickly can we put our hands on deck and serve the people of Siaya County. Because these people, for the last 4 months, during this protracted engagement, service has suffered.
But why would it suffer? Because all that was happening there was a disagreement that came into a public domain.
Right.
Are you saying the officers whose mandate is to ensure that service delivery actually happens stopped working? Are we saying that the Siaya county accounts were frozen. Are we saying that something that relates to the normal functions of the county stopped because there was this entanglement?
City, as it were, the pace of the pack is always determined by the leader. And if the two leaders that are supposed to be setting the pace and defining strategy and direction are fighting, service obviously gets impacted. Yes, there was some minimal, fair amount of service still being delivered. However, effective and efficient service delivery was indeed affected. So much so that in county governments, most of the staff are Theory X employees. They like being directed. They must, you must supervise them to work. They are not your typical consultant Theory Y employees. Yeah. So if they like
is this a requirement for you to be an employee in the county government, or is it something that is a tradition that has morphed so that it's now the being, it's what is considered to be the norm within county government?
It is the being, it's the norm. It's just a behavior that
but then one deputy governor, that then means it points a finger at the leadership, the political leadership of the county, because it means that if that is how the officers who work within the county behave, then it means it's demanded of them by those who are supposed to be their overseers and bosses to behave in such a manner, because that's how tradition is created.
Absolutely. I mean, really, it boils down to leadership, just like you put it. If you have firm, strong leadership, it then follows that even the team would work towards the achievement of particular goals and objectives. But City, just to follow up on what you are asking, the confusion at the top was very good for a good number of employees, because during that confusion, that's when they do some of these Mickey Mouse games. So that works for them, including even the assembly. They like it when this confusion at the executive.
There's something I have never really fully understood about, say, the workings of counties now. Admittedly, the employees within a county will be individuals who come from that county.
Yes.
But I get the impression, let me talk about Luo Nyanza, that I'm more familiar with, that depending on where the governor comes from, at a certain point in time, you'll find a good number of employees who are in key positions come from the governor's neck of the woods. Now, if that is the case, then it means that the deputy governor has little to no say in what actually happens in the county. The deputy governor in most cases is like a flower girl. You're there to be seen, but you actually have no powers.
And this, by the way, is an anomaly that needs to be cured in this country. Oftentimes, during campaigns, you find governors and deputy governors are bosom buddies. They are joined to the hip. They are very, very close. Once the two men and women are inaugurated and the governor assumes office, they then decide to elbow. In most cases, most of these deputies are suffering. It's just that they are not talking about it. But I think there is one area, City, that Parliament and the Senate needs to address. And the Senate, in dismissing my impeachment, one of the recommendations they came up with is that there is need to anchor the roles and the responsibilities of deputy governors under the Constitution, so that you are not at the mercy of the governor. Morality or good behavior or good manners cannot be legislated. That needs to be embedded in the County Governments Act or under the Constitution, so that deputy governors when you are inaugurated, you have your specific roles and responsibilities, you have your small little budget, and so you are able to run your affairs without necessarily depending on the governor.
Have you and the governor been in any communication since the case?
No, unfortunately not. I actually tried to reach out to him. Was it last week? Again, he did not pick up my... twice I called him. He didn't pick up my call. So we have not communicated. I have not gone back to Siaya, but I am going back to Siaya this week. So I hope that we would be able to meet and agree on the way forward. Mine is a conciliatory approach. Where mediation fails, because you see, mediation now is engagement between two parties. But conciliation involves many other parties, the churches, the elders, and the leaders. I am hoping that through conciliation, we would be able to address, because our differences were never personal. I have said here before that they were ideological.
It's ideological.
Mine was issues to do with governance and how we wanted to steer the county forward. And I have been vindicated. I talked about theft through imprest. Senate agreed with me. And the Minister for Finance, you invited him here, Benedict Omolo, and indeed he confirmed that they were making the huge withdrawals until February. Remember, February is when I started making noise. That February, they only withdrew 3.1 million.
They only withdrew?
They withdrew 3.1 million only. Yeah, they withdrew 3.1 million only.
This is compared to
previously.
Remember, previously they were withdrawing 26 million November, 21 million December, so not for the 26, 46 million November, 41 million December, 25 million January.
3 million February.
Then I made noise. Then 3.1 million February, 2.5 million March, and then in Benedict's words, they froze impressed in the month of April altogether. So what was going on? Why were they withdrawing 46 million in the months of November, December? Where was the emergency?
You know the amount?
Let's take a break.
Yes, let's take a break.
Those amounts, those figures are confusing you, kidogo. Kunywa maji.
Amazing.
CPA Dr. William Odwol is our guest this morning. He is the Deputy Governor of Siaya County. He faced impeachment from the County Assembly. That was rejected by the Senate, so he's still the Deputy Governor. We are talking about, so now what next? After that entire debacle, what next in terms of delivering to the people of Siaya, and what should happen to this office of Deputy Governor even going forward? That's what we are discussing. Colgate, Dr. Odwol, you've heard us talking about this, and one of the things that in your Nyalore manifesto for Siaya, inawezekana, was inawezekana for everybody in Siaya to have water.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So Colgate is actually working, I don't know whether they're in Siaya, we'll find out from them, in several parts of the country, and they're saying, we'd like to actually help communities get access to water. Okay? The smile of yours, clearly you use Colgate. So next time your people are going shopping and check how much they spend, make sure that they buy Colgate. When they buy Colgate, part of that money will go towards sinking 30 water wells that will benefit at least 150,000 lives in the country.
Lovely.
A good thing to do, isn't it?
Good thing.
It's about service to the people.
100%.
Yeah. 26 minutes to 9. Let's take this break. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Have you ever heard about Mivida, a residential developer created by Actis and Sharpuji Palonji Real Estate, who bring over 220 years in global real estate? They deliver what they promise on time, always. Join their CEO, Samuel Karaoke, on the Situation Room and learn how they are changing the definition of quality living and making home ownership more accessible through their rent-to-own schemes. Mivida, my home, my life. Cloudy conditions in Nairobi at 13, highs of 21, and we'll see highs of 25 in Nakuru, where it's sunny at 12. It's mostly cloudy at 14 in Nyeri, highs of 21 and 24 will be the high in a partly sunny Eldoret at 12. Mostly cloudy at 23 in Mombasa, highs of 27 and highs of 27 in a partly sunny Malindi at 24. It's 19 and sunny in Kisumu, highs of 28, and we'll see highs of 27 in a sunny Kakamega at 17. It's 17 and sunny in Kampala, highs of 26, and it'll go to highs of 30 in a mostly cloudy Dar es Salaam at 23. It's 4 degrees and mostly clear in Johannesburg, highs of 16 and lows of 2, and it's mostly cloudy at 24. In Lagos, highs of 30 and lows of 24. It's clear at 19 in Kinshasa. We'll see highs of 33 and lows of 19.
Spice up your life.
All right, traffic hasn't been too much of a menace this morning. A little bit on your usual areas, coming off of Magadi Road and then spilling over to Langata Road, a little bit of traffic. And it'll go towards Raila Odinga Way and then out towards Aerodrome onto Huru Highway. We'll see some Huru Highway traffic going all the way to Haile Selassie at the junction and then into the CBD. Whatever is happening on Outer Ring is much better now. A little bit of traffic still left on North Airport Road, heading out towards the Eastern Bypass or connecting towards Outer Ring. It's heavy on the Thika Superhighway just past Survey, out towards the Pangani underpass. It's reducing significantly on Kiambu Road this morning. So we'll just keep an eye on things and see how they progress closer to 9. Oloi Tok and then touching on Chiromo as well as parts of James Gishuru. Still pretty busy as you touch on Wayaki Way this morning. So your normal Thursday morning musings in traffic. Let's see how it opens up as we go through traffic hour. Let's talk on Spice FM, KE on Twitter.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings.
Dr. William Odwall is the
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
With the impeachment which was rejected by the Senate, he says he's tried calling his governor twice and the governor has not picked up your call. Those 2 times.
Right.
Have you tried to use emissaries to reach out to the governor and say, I'd like us to talk?
So I've reached out to the Luo Council of Elders, Share Branch. I am also in discussion with some church leaders. And my glass is always half full, Eric. I believe that we will find a resolution to this.
What response have you gotten so far from those that you've sent to him?
I only spoke with the Luo Council of Elders early this week, and the chairman did mention that he was going to reach out to governor. So I want to give it time and hope that reason is going to prevail, because at the end of the day, like I keep saying, it's service. The people of Sia County. I am deputy governor. I am elected. I'm not appointed.
Are you receiving a salary?
Yes, sir. I am.
On time? Like everybody else?
Like everybody else.
Did they reinstate the services that they had withdrawn?
No, the privileges.
There was security and was it vehicles?
Fuel, they haven't.
So what aren't you enjoying now? What are you not enjoying?
The security was withdrawn. The utility car that I was using was withdrawn. The fuel, even my official car, the one that I'm using currently, that they are not fueling. My allowances, they are not paying me, including even the staff that work for me in my office. They are not being paid their allowances. So, but that's okay. I mean,
how is it okay?
How is it okay? When you raise this matter, if you have, what have they said are the reasons as to why this is not being paid? Because I don't believe it's the governor himself who signs off on these payments for you. There's an office, isn't it? The finance. What are the reasons they give as to why these allowances and others are not being paid?
You know, the beauty of it is that how whichever way this goes and however long it takes, they will still pay it.
You're owed.
They owe. In fact, they may even pay with the damages because it's a right. So it's cosmetic irritation, little inconvenience, and I was prepared for this because if you are fighting impunity, sometimes they try to put roadblocks, and I see those are some of the roadblocks. I still want to believe, you see, the buck stops with the governor.
Yeah.
If the governor wants my allowances paid today, they would be paid yesterday. If he wants, because before I started making noise, I would get fuel religiously. My allowances would be paid religiously. It's only after I started talking about corruption and insisting that things need to be done in a particular manner that suddenly Share does not have fuel in gas stations, and only for my car.
So you're saying essentially that if you were to then put a muzzle on this corruption talk,
right,
your allowances and other emoluments would come back?
They would come back almost immediately. I am very certain.
You know what I hear you to be saying, Abana Deputy Governor, is that in SIA you do not have internal mechanisms set up or instituted to resolve issues such as this one. Because indeed, if there is something, you are the Deputy Governor after all, you deputize for the Governor. If something is wrong within the county system,
right,
it is clear that the reporting mechanism, the resolution mechanism, a mechanism that is set up to ensure that these matters are resolved, not just amicably but conclusively, does not exist.
No, it's just impunity, City. I will. Perhaps I need to let you know this. When all this started, I took initiative and wrote a letter to the county secretary and copied governor and copied the speaker of the county assembly and copied the chairman of governance committee, county assembly of Siaya.
There's a governance committee.
Yes, governance committee of county assembly of Siaya. I expected the governance committee at the minimum to summon the officers, ask them why they have withdrawn my security, why they are not giving me, providing fuel to my vehicles. They haven't done nothing. So what does that tell you?
What's the process of getting fuel? Do you make a claim?
So
are you paid in arrears or are you paid in advance?
So I will tell you, before I started making noise, it was seamless. My driver or my assistant would get fuel. I didn't even get to know about it. For 4 months, 3 months, when I was in Siaya, it was never an issue. It never even came to my attention.
Yeah, but what's
that
the
would
process?
That would be handled by my assistant, my driver. If
is
the
your driver
is,
telling you that they're following the same process?
Yes.
Which is probably making a claim, going that book and showing the deputy governor left here and went for a meeting here, and therefore we traveled 15 kilometers here. This is the mileage, and therefore we are saying we need fuel to cover this mileage. Is your driver, your assistant, are they still doing that?
Same process.
What meetings are you attending?
They are following the same process that they used to follow, but they're not getting fuel.
But what meetings are you attending? You haven't had any official meeting to attend since you started being sidelined.
No. I was holding and attending meetings until late May. They stopped giving me fuel in February. So it's just impunity. They've just decided that, okay, you think that you want to stop us from
doing what we do.
Let's see who makes the final call.
But then it tells me, if I am to take the logic that you are putting across, Deputy Governor,
right,
that this isn't a situation that began when you and James Orengo came to power. No. Because you didn't come with a civil service of your own.
No.
You found them there.
We found them there.
And so if you found them there, then this points to something that was happening long before you got there. So essentially when you say you are disturbing the status quo, because that seems to be it. This is a status quo that had been benefiting very many people prior to your going there.
Yes, yes.
Now, when we institutionalize the term corruption fights back and corruption fights back grandly, you seem to have not just gotten at crosshairs with this matter, but you have gotten right into the center of it. Now, my question, with all the government agencies that deal with corruption still in place, they have not left their docket, have you made attempts to, or did you make attempts after the attempts you had made initially within the county government of Siaya, when it did not bear fruit? Did you go out to other state agencies that deal with such matters and report these matters to them? And if you did, what was their response?
So I want to report, and I am happy, even as a report, that after the assembly of Siaya refused to afford me the opportunity to go and explain, and preferred impeachment against me, I decided to forward my evidence to EACC. And I'm happy to report that EACC, for the last 3 weeks, 1 month, have been camped in Siaya. I know that we are going to have arrests very, very soon. They have camped in Siaya. They are looking at previous corruption, 600 million that was stolen, the 400 million that was stolen before our time, and they are also looking at current graft.
Wouldn't you say the amounts were misappropriated because the EAC have not determined how it is that money didn't go it was supposed to be? So if we say stolen, it's like saying a court of law had looked at this thing and said, this money actually didn't get lost, it was stolen. Let's say it was misappropriated.
Misappropriated. Yes. I stand guided on that one.
Yes, with intent to steal.
Yeah. With misappropriated, with intent to steal. That's a good one. So ESCC are looking at both current graft and current graft. I have been fairly specific. I've talked about the assumption of office, the 18 million that was stolen, and the payroll theft, 5.4 million and 2.1 million. The impressed, the over 100 million that was misappropriated in 3 months. That's to use city's word. Misappropriated. So ESCC is camped in Siaya. They are taking statements, and all I can encourage on this medium is that they need to expeditiously carry out that investigation, because the whole republic is watching, and the people of Siaya deserve justice.
But Deputy Governor, if what you say is happening exactly as you did,
yes,
and if we take the allegation that you somehow interrupted and disturbed the status quo, then from where I sit, it looks like this reconciliation is going to be a very tall order.
So, City,
yes,
I am hoping that we can reconcile with Governor Orengo. But if we do not reconcile with Governor Orengo, I want to tell the people of Siaya, including the leadership, that some of whom think I'm going to resign. I am not resigning from that seat. They must get used to William Odual, the deputy governor, for the next 4 years. Why am I not resigning? If I resign, these characters are going to be emboldened. They are going to steal even more. The fact that I am there, they are scared, very scared. If there's misappropriation, there's some fair amount of deterrence. I am told today in finance that impress, that petty cash that they used to sign without
willy-nilly.
Yes, willy-nilly. To get anybody to now put their signature on a piece of paper in finance is very difficult.
Okay. And so you would attribute that to your action previously.
Yes.
So what is your plan now moving forward? We know that, and also as as a deputy governor who then sits in a position of assistance to the governor,
right,
as well as now this also position that you've taken of making sure that things are squeaky clean in the county, what's your plan moving forward?
So my plan is to ensuring that we fulfill what we said we want to fulfill, the 9 points agenda. That manifesto that we talked about, we still have to deliver medicine in health centers and clinics. Food security, issues of food security, we must make sure that bright, deserving students and pupils go to school through bursaries. We must ensure, and of course with the help of people like companies like Colgate, make sure that we have water across Shire County and all the rest of the other imperatives that we talked about.
And can you do that with the strained relationship?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
And how I want to participate in this is I want to hold my government accountable. I want to ensure good governance.
You want to be the opposition within.
Exactly. I want to ensure that there's transparency and accountability. How am I going to do it? I want to create work for myself by ensuring that I become the county delivery unit. How does that work? Remember, we have projects that we execute on, whether they are dams, whether they are ponds, whether they are markets that we are building. I want to create work for myself. When I go back to Siaya, I want to periodically go to those markets, go to those centers and establish that what we said we are going to do, we actually did. You know, in certain instances, we have been faced by situations where you're paying for services not delivered or not rendered. So I want to be that individual that is going to help governor and the county in ensuring that services are delivered at the right quality.
What's on paper is what's on the ground.
What's on paper is what's on the ground.
So you're going to play that entire role.
I want to play that role.
You know,
I want to create, because you see, if governor is not going to delegate work for me, I might as well just create work for myself.
Some work for yourself.
And I think this is one area that would help the people of Siaya.
Where will you be taking your reports? So once you look, I'm sure you're going to be looking at the annual development plans that form the budget and the areas where money has been appropriated in the budget.
Yes.
And then going to see, so 20 million shillings was appropriated for Market X. You go to Market X and you find the work and you inspect whether this is work worth 20 million shillings. You put it in your report which says yes, no, questionable. Who do you take this report to?
So, County Assembly of Siaya, that is the body responsible for oversight, especially if I see anomalies. I would do exactly what I have been doing. The people, the electorates, if I think that, you see, for example, a road was supposed to be compacted, because in most cases, take for example a road, they say we want this road marramed and compacted. In certain cases they don't compact. So if a situation such as that occurs, I would need to pick it up with the responsible department, the Department of Public Works, Roads and Housing, and ensure that the people get the services that they deserve and what is specified in the tender documents.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You belong to the County Deputy Governors Forum.
Yes.
Or is it caucus?
Right.
Now, you've told us here in passing that you know of other deputy governors who may not be speaking publicly, but they are facing similar frustrations, such as yourself.
Yes.
What do you think ought to happen so that we no longer have these conversations about deputy governors and governors being at loggerheads constantly?
So, two things need to happen. The worst case scenario is disband this position of deputy governor altogether. Let governors run as governors without their deputies, and let electorates elect them in their own individual capacities.
Okay.
That's
worst case.
Worst case. Best case, anchor the role of the role and responsibilities of deputy governors onto the constitution or on the county government's act. So that deputy governors have specific roles and responsibilities. Deputy governors have budgets within their department.
Yeah. How does this help?
And let me just explain to you. Remember earlier on I said you cannot legislate morality. It depends with the individual. Anne Waiguru in Kirinyaga, the deputy governor for Anne Waiguru, all the cabinet CECMs, the ministers, report into the deputy governor, and that works very well. The governor for Mombasa, His Excellency Abdul Somad, has given his deputy 3 ministries to run because he recognizes that, he's just one individual. He cannot manage all the 10 ministries. Kangata in Muranga has given his deputy 3 ministries, including even a chief officer in the office of the deputy governor. Excellency Wanga in Homa Bay has given her deputy a ministry to run. He's minister for agriculture besides being a deputy governor. So what am I saying? It depends with the governor. You do not need to legislate for a governor to work well with their deputies. It depends with the individual. But because you cannot legislate good manners or morals, let's anchor it onto the constitution.
Put it in the law.
Put it in the law.
That a deputy governor will come into office, they'll have an office, they'll have a budget, they'll have a department.
A department.
Thereby creating 2 centers of power.
Not necessarily. You see, if you have roles and responsibilities, it does not mean that those roles and responsibilities usurp the powers of the governor. Those roles and responsibilities can be under the governor. They do not need to usurp the powers of the governor. Yeah. I am not even suggesting that ministers need to report to the deputy governor. No. Look at the current structure of national government. His Excellency the President has assigned roles and responsibilities to his deputy and the Prime Cabinet Secretary.
And they both report to him.
It is not anchored in law. It just requires good manners.
Goodwill.
And goodwill. Yeah. So
So you're saying you're going back to Siaya this weekend.
Yes.
And you are seeking conciliation as a way of mending fences with the governor.
Yes.
And if this does not work, then you will form this public watchdog office.
Yes.
Dr. William Odwol, Deputy Governor, public watchdog, but you will not resign.
I am not resigning because I want to protect the people of Siaya. I want to ensure that the service that we promised that we were going to deliver to them is delivered. The only way to deliver that is to ensure that we put government in check. And I promise to do exactly that.
And the county assembly? Do you want to mend fences with the county assembly?
I would like
to. Because clearly, not a single one of them has confidence in you.
You see, that's the irony. Not a single one of them has confidence in me. I would like to mend fences with the county assembly, but they must step up to the plate. They cannot be accompanying a governor to funerals and functions, singing and dancing to his tunes.
Why not?
They are supposed to oversight executive.
That's probably how they understand oversight to be.
No. You see,
how do you oversight unless you accompany?
Unless you see.
To be there to see what's happening.
No.
Yes.
The assembly's role is threefold: it's legislation, representation, and oversight.
Not accompanying.
Not going with governor to funerals and dancing.
So your
and
message
singing.
to them is step up to the plate.
Step up to the plate.
Do your
let's
job.
work together. Do your job, and let's make Siaya great again.
Asante sana. You and Governor James Orengo said Nyalore. The
Yes.
people of Siaya are still expecting to see ikiwezekana. Thank you very much, DG, for joining us.
Thank you very
CPA
much.
Dr. William Oduomo,
Very.
Deputy Governor, Siaya County. Good morning, 9 a.m.
Up your life.
Top of the hour on Vibes Radio.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Mavoko MP Patrick Makau has been arrested. Makau was arrested in the wee hours today at his home in Karen, Nairobi. His house was raided at 4 a.m. when detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations took him to the Directorate's offices in Kimbu. Makau's arrest is in connection with the demonstrations that led to the massive destruction of the Nairobi Expressway at the Mlolongo toll station during the anti-government protest called by the opposition to picket against the high cost of living. Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki castigated opposition chief Raila Odinga for being the architect of the lawlessness and impunity experienced yesterday, while referring to the former premier as the poster boy for violent politics. We continue to follow up on this developing story. Be sure that we'll be bringing you the very latest. Now, Treasury has absolved itself from any blame in the cancellation of the 3.7 billion shillings Global Fund mosquito nets tender, even as it affirmed there were flaws in the communication process. Appearing before the Senate Committee on Health, Principal Secretary Chris Kipto said his ministry was not in any way involved in determining the specifications of the long-lasting insecticidal nets that were to be supplied to 22 specific counties. Kipto was responding to a question by committee chair Jackson Mandago, who wanted to know the relationship between the ministries of Treasury and Health on the matter and the probe. And Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya has said that time has come to terminate the contract with the water supply company Nzowasco and create another called Transwasco, which will benefit the residents of the county. Natembeya said he's not happy by the fact that a lot of services are channeled towards the neighboring Bungoma County and that employment as well in the company benefits Bungoma citizens.
We raise the revenue. We collect about 20 million from Trans Nzoia and just about 10 million from Bungoma. Most of the employees are people from Bungoma. We are saying as a county, we are at the stage where we need to have our own water service provider. The process of the clustering started a long time ago. It's a task force that is doing this. But as they do that, I'm going to make an application as a county for our own water service provider. The issue of assets and liabilities is neither here nor there. Kolongole, Kipchogot, Kapwale projects were funded by a loan, and those old projects are in Trans Nzoia.
On his part, Trans Nzoia County Water CEC Patrick Sheru has said that the operating license of Nzowasco company will expire in August this year and that the Trans Nzoia County government is not ready to enter into another contract with the company.
In our constitution 2010, water is a default function and every county is supposed to have its own company to manage its water affairs. So the struggle to separate Swasco has been on. At the beginning of this year, I wrote to us, the regulatory board, and told them that we wanted to cluster the grid. We formed another task force in March. We expect the report in the next 2 weeks. The license for Swasco expires on that 1st of August. And for it to be renewed, the two counties must appoint Swasco to be a water service provider.
The September 4th to 6th Africa Climate Change Summit in Nairobi will be a platform for the continent to showcase its climate action potential in niche sectors such as renewable energy, carbon sinks, sustainable agriculture, and critical minerals. This is according to Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya, who says President William Ruto and the African Union Commission leadership will lead the continent in the summit in showcasing Africa's green energy potentials, which range from solar, wind, and hydro, adding that the energy, if tapped, would power the world and minimize greenhouse gas emissions. Now, a former police officer from the General Service Unit has been apprehended in connection with 9 robberies involving violence in Gilgil. The ex-cop, identified as Ruoro, worked with a gang, some of whose members have since been killed or arrested, according to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Ruoro first attracted police attention during a bank robbery in Matu, July 2021, when his DRC's gang of 5 stole an unspecified amount of cash and 2 AK-47 rifles from the officers on duty. The incident prompted a probe to neutralize the gang, where 1 rifle was recovered. The second rifle was discovered during an operation that led to Roro's arrest in the Tekaungu area of Kilifi County. And former President Uhuru Kenyatta is in Democratic Republic of Congo to attend the second Executive Consultation Technical Team meeting. Also in attendance in the meeting is DRC's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defense Jean-Pierre Bemba, President Felix Tshisekedi, Special Representative Sajishingbau Kabea, as well as Governor of North Kivu General Ndima Kangba. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Okay, so getting into traffic hour, Kiambu Road looking much better now. We're not seeing much of anything going on there right now. On the Thika Superhighway, still heavy as you get towards Pangani. And then you get onto Moranga Road and you should be okay. Some traffic coming off of Wayaki Way and into the CBD. It's also pretty busy as you're touching on James Gishuru, a little bit on Chiromo as you get then into Kileleshwa out towards Lavington. And then we'll see some of the traffic that comes in from Gitanga, but actually negligible. So that's all right. Langata Road was a bit busy. Now we're seeing some of that spill over towards Railo Dinka Way, and then we should get rid of that in a short while. So not done too poorly with traffic today. Keep an eye on things though and see maybe half an hour what it looks like then. Let's talk Spice FM KE on Twitter.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room.
7 after 9.
The only way.
Today is Thursday, the 13th day of July 2023. Episode 2 of Faithless comes out when? Today. It's a big one.
It's going to be because it's unraveling everything that it made its entry with last week. Starting to unravel and find out what exactly is going to happen. Faith, played by Rosemary Waweru, and her 4 friends, Pepeta, Pa, and Kina. Esther, rather, played by Rosemary, and her 3 friends are going to try to figure out, okay, so now this money that we found last week, what do we do with it? And then trying to figure out my brother, how is he involved in all of this? And who's actually trying to go after him? Many questions being asked. It's Faithless. It's Kenya's latest original title on Showmax. And the next episode comes out today. You want to know more about it? Get onto showmax.com. Subscribe and watch.
Star-studded cast.
Telling you.
Those ones, they've acted on Pepeta, Avril, Nyambura, Beatrice Moi, who's acted on Pa, Fatima Mohammed, who's been on Kina, Alex Kamau, who's on Volume, Maurice Mwangi, who's on Famous, Peter Kamau of Selena, Arabron, who's on very many, including The Second Family. Another original. Abubakar Mwenda, Subira, Brian Gaira. Hey, my friend. Today is episode 2. Siti umesikia?
Nimesikia vizuri sana.
Today is episode 2.
And I will make sure that I actually watch.
And you bring us, stories tomorrow.
Yes, I just hope I don't fall asleep watching.
Oh, wow.
Sleep before you start watching.
Yeah.
So now you'll be awake. Then you will not wake up.
I will not wake up to watch.
Okay. Earlier at 7 o'clock in our Justice Thursday conversation, we were talking about privacy and how to protect our children when they're accessing online platforms and digital platforms. And we had a police detective, Lawrence Okoh, who's a digital forensics expert. Now we have somebody who is a cybersecurity and data privacy consultant, Oscar Okwero. Good morning, Oscar.
Good morning, Eric. Good morning, the whole team.
Morning.
Pleasure to be here.
Karibu sana. Now, Oscar, so we had a DCI detective earlier who was a digital forensics expert. Now you are a cybersecurity and data privacy consultant. Are you a cop as well? Or are you NIS?
No, I'm not a cop.
Are you NIS?
You're a spy.
No, I'm not.
Okay, are you Army?
None
Since
of
we're going
that.
through the list.
Intelligence.
Okay, are you Navy? I mean, come on. Okay, are we through with the list? No, Air Force. Yes.
None of those. But I know our task, or rather what we do, is kind of related to that, because whatever we find, whatever happens in the normal non-digital sphere, will get its way into the digital sphere. So with the general interconnection among the whole citizenry, social media has kind of just exploded and opened that floodgates to everyone and everything. So it goes without saying, therefore, that all the threat actors that we find in normal life find their ways into the digital sphere. So that explains why it's not a very, decoupled spheres.
It covers everything.
Absolutely.
You'll tell us more about this. But first, CT.
Yes.
The day's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week, which ends tomorrow, are from the country of Sudan. Northern Sudan, as opposed to Southern Sudan. We're calling it Khartoum, Sudan, as opposed to Juba, Sudan. Okay? Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Yes.
Oscar, what do you make of this proverb?
I think I'll be talking to something similar to that, where ideally you see what you want to say, to summarize it. So if I want to see, if I go online and I just want to see things that kind of reinforce my assumptions, that's what you're going to see. If you also want to see something different, a lot of times, as you are going to see in our conversation, the social media engines have kind of customized their services to give exactly what you want to see. So the tweets, the friend suggestion list, ideally there are people who you want to see, but for those, because based on what your previous interactions with other content, they're going to know what you don't like, so they're not going to show you what you don't like, because the whole business case is based on engagement, so they want to have as much engagement in the content as possible. So perhaps then that's what City is alluding to.
So they make you blind and deaf to everything else.
Absolutely.
I see. So, cybersecurity and data privacy consultant, what do you do? And how did you get to start doing what you do?
So I'll begin with how I got here. I am trained in technology security and data privacy. So I did my undergrad at Strathmore, that's BBIT. Then I got the Chevening Scholarship and went to the University of Glasgow to do my MSc in IT cybersecurity. And after that, I've worked for Deloitte East Africa as a cybersecurity consultant. And then late last year, I left to be in the International Development Organization group. I don't want to mention because for obvious reasons here. But yes, that's what I do.
Sasa bwana, for obvious reasons, yes. Ameenda vizuri, ametoka Strathmore tunamwona.
Ameenda Deloitte.
No, alienda Glasgow kwanza tunamwona. Shivling ndio alimpeleka huko. Yote tumeona. Amerudi ako Deloitte. Bado tunamwona. Then sasa ameingia development na hatumwoni.
Development security.
For obvious reasons.
Okay, Oscar, continue.
We're yanking your crank, don't worry. I get it. I get a lot of this, but I understand why. Because by the very nature of what you deal with, and as I would imagine, you mentioned that there's an officer of DCI who came here earlier on. the good things don't get to their table. It's the bad things, the bad actors that get to their table. Therefore, it goes without saying that most of what they deal with are not
good.
The good things, yes. So the same goes with social media as we know it. The good parts everybody enjoys, and you share memes, you follow your favorite celebrity, you post comments, you go for holiday, take snaps, your Diani or Bermuda or wherever. That's the good part of it. But what you don't know is how all that can be used against you, how that can be kind of weaponized and create what we call a digital persona that can be targeted for really bad actions. And I'll be explaining. And one of it is, like I earlier alluded to, based on your
proverb.
Your proverb. So what happens is the more you, when you join social media and you give as much information about yourself to kind of customize your experience. So you're going to give them your favorite movies, your brothers and your sisters, your friends. You take pictures. Oh, this is your friends. At times they even ask you, "Is this city Muga?" Then you confirm yes. You in cost, and then you take on your picture on your iPhone. It tags the location. Of course, it knows, and then you keep confirming. Over time, it creates what we call a digital persona of who you are. They know who you are, who your friends are, your family, your favorite meals, where you go for holiday,
your home, your
exactly.
workplace,
who you are dating, and
they know who you are. Who's they?
So the whole concept of social media is to give you an experience,
right.
And that is what you see. Yeah. That is what you have. But what you don't know is that you creating what we call a digital exhaust for every post, for every share, and they make all this into a digital persona that can then now be targeted for...
They here being the platform owners?
Yes, and at times it's even open for third-party actors who can ideally develop models that can process this data and use it for whatever they want. And I'm sure you all know about Cambridge Analytica, what they did with Facebook during the US election 2016 and the Brexit election. So that is an example of what they can do, what third-party data...
Where we left Kenya out of that equation?
Because I will not comment on the Kenyan situation.
Carry on, yes.
Yes, but that tells you how much the data you give can be used both for the good and to the bad. And a lot of times, unfortunately, for the normal social media users, we really don't know what's happening. So you keep posting more pictures, you keep tagging your friends, you keep, adding the latest book you're reading, whatever restaurant you went to, whatever you ate.
You say they don't know. Is it that they don't want to know, they're not interested in knowing? Because it's like the experience takes over everything else.
Fair point.
That, there are all these social media platforms. Erasmus? What is it actually called? Instagram, okay? Facebook, okay? Now, from what I have observed...
TikTok.
That one also.
Oh, the TikTok.
Don't worry, very soon it'll all come together.
The experience, the interactions seem to capture the people who are involved in it, so that nothing else matters beyond that. And then there are these numbers I keep hearing of. Somebody has 1 million followers. I actually don't understand that, but it doesn't matter because I don't need to understand. If they say they have 1 million followers, then I assume they have 1 million people following them. And that seems to be important. Because why I'm saying this is because from a layman's position, and that's really where I am, there are a group of individuals we call influencers. And somehow this following, and it's only in social media, is very, very important to the job that they do. Then there's another group I'm told called bloggers, okay? This following again is very important. So again, the experience and the interaction seem to be fundamental to their business or whatever it is that they do. Am I understanding this thing right?
That's very correct. The whole business concept of social media and essentially the digital ecosystem is marketing. And what that therefore means is for the platforms, they reward engagement. So that's why you're going to find that the more controversial content is, the more it's shared, the more it generates traction, and then the more even in the search engine ratings, it goes higher. And the same with bloggers. Before I go to the influencers, bloggers, if you notice what they do, they try to bring as much controversial content as possible because that sells. And the more it sells, the more it creates the environment for marketing, and that is where the value from a marketing perspective comes from. So now when you go to the social media influencers, it's no different because you use the same platform, but because you want to come in between and kind of go like a step higher than the normal users, then it goes without saying that you create a platform and have followers, then you can monetize these followers to the marketers. I may also add at that point that some of these followers are actually not true followers, because it's possible to just pay for bots and create like an artificial following.
Pay for?
Bots.
What on earth is that?
Bots are automated personas who act like humans on social media. So
robots.
Yes, robots, if I may.
So you create robots?
They are third-party providers who monetize all this ecosystem to create bots, and you can hire them.
Third-party actors, meaning, if I understand you, if I want followers, I go to these third-party individuals. They are the ones who know how to create these robots who now will present themselves as my followers.
That's correct.
But in reality, they don't actually exist except in the realm where that creation took place.
That's correct. But I also have to say there are actually people with real followers, so that is also a given. But a big number by artificial followers.
So when I read that somebody has 10 million followers, it's not really true. It's robots that are following him all over.
Not in all cases.
Not in all cases.
Not in all cases.
Some people have actual followers.
Okay.
Some are artificial.
I'm assuming they have some followers. But I'm also assuming
they beef them up with
that the robots boost these figures that we see.
Absolutely.
Are there people who just have robots and they don't actually have real people following them?
Chances are there. Yeah.
There's some robot accounts that will be followed by robots.
Okay.
So they appear authentic. But then the platform owners do a lot of work in trying to weed out these bots, don't they?
Absolutely.
Right.
How successful are they in these attempts?
Some are, some are not. Remember, at their core business model is engagement, and these robots help in that engagement. So it is to their interest that there are some elements of this.
Okay.
But I have to say that at some point, and I think that was sometime in 2018, when it was reported that probably over 40% of the content and engagement on Twitter is actually robots and they're not humans.
Talking to themselves.
Yes. And, bullying real people. Some even create their own content, reshare it, and then as you try to engage it, you actually think you are participating in a good conversation, but literally it's robots creating content, resharing it, and they create an artificial, what you call an echo chamber, where it looks like either something is really trending and you think, oh, today in Kenya we're discussing this, or maybe in Mombasa this is the problem, but really it's probably somebody who deployed robots to create some chaos or to create some good perception in some direction.
So this, what you've just said, tells me that this is an aspect of how artificial intelligence. This is how that aspect of artificial intelligence works.
Absolutely.
Because if a gadget, if an object, if a machine is thinking, responding, reacting, giving information, then they're imitating human behavior.
Absolutely. And that's AI.
And they're imitating it fairly successfully.
Yes.
Okay. So it seems as though very many things can be done as a result of that. And as you've built up this conversation, you talk about building a digital persona. And one of the things that you said was that it can be used for good. It can also be used for bad.
Nefarious intent.
Nefarious intent,
yes.
Right? Now, what are some of these things that we are talking about? And even as though people want to get on social media and talk about all the wonderful things that are happening, traveling here, eating this, doing what then, where does the danger lie here in terms of what this information could be used for?
So the dangers are so many, and I'll begin with the obvious one being impersonation, where after these robots have really learned enough information about you, they can create a new version of you because they already know who you are, your birthday, your family, your friends, what you like eating, what you look like, because you
post all your images.
Yeah.
And how you communicate, because they can see
absolutely
the way you write your posts.
Yes. So the obvious risk is that they can create a version of you and use that for nefarious purposes. Like they'll create a new account with your picture, with everything else, and then they start reaching out to your friends asking for money or creating an emergency. So and so has been involved in an accident, and they're calling from the same number because they probably reached out even to your phone, ported that number to a device they control. So all the communications are coming from your line. So that's an obvious risk, and we really have to keep an eye on that, because
how do you keep an eye on it? How do I know?
How do you even know somebody's cloned your number or whatever
on social media?
Well, I think Safaricom or the Communications Authority came up with like an Safaricom, if I'm not wrong, created a number where you can kind of dial some star something, and then it would give you a list of all the numbers that are registered under
the ID.
Line, remember, all these things can be faked. The ID can be faked because you created so much data online. They can use all that to. So it is not enough to just know these are the number of lines registered under your ID. So that is one way you can know, especially if it as concerns to SIM cloning. Other ways are, I will say that especially for your devices, you have to be very careful. Do not share the same device for office and personal work or personal social media browsing, because again, you really in your social life, you're going to interact with so much content that you probably don't want even your boss to know that you watch some videos and all that. The risk is that some of these videos, some of these memes, yes, they may look funny, and they have to be funny for them to get that engagement and that traction. But a lot of times they have embedded malware through which the more you share it, then the malware gets dropped into the different devices.
What is malware?
Malware is any nefarious software that intends to do harm to either your information or your device, and the risks can be so many when you go that lane.
Are you telling me that there are people who simply decide that as part of the interaction with other people, they want to inject, they want to place something that will cause harm to other people?
Yeah.
That's the intention?
Yes. And they make money out of it.
That's what tickles their jollies?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how they earn their bread.
Yeah. Okay. So especially for the end users, you must always keep an eye that, for all your intents and purposes, for all your interactions on social media, there are actually people who are intent on causing you harm. So you must always be on the defense. Yes, within an organizational perspective, there are controls that you can put in place to kind of protect your organizational devices, your users and everything else. From a government perspective, they can pass all the many laws that Kenya we've passed, like the Cyber Crimes Act. We now have a new Data Privacy Act 2019. And we even have like a Cyber Security Strategy 2022, I think. But that is really on a bigger scale. That is, you as a user have a responsibility, because most of these do not attack governments. Most of these do not attack maybe businesses. There's a whole set of risks. But especially from a personal cybersecurity perspective, you really have to keep an eye on such engagements. And there is also something we call doxing, where some doxing. Yes.
Like boxing with a D.
Correct.
Okay.
So this is simply, we know City Muga's phone number, or where you stay. Then I go and share it online. and people just call you to frustrate you or
order 20 pizzas and send it to you.
Exactly. Or maybe they just know your number, so they keep calling until your phone goes off because it's always on calls. And then once it goes off, that could actually be one step towards a bigger scheme. So once your phone goes off, then they do SIM porting, they steal your money from M-Pesa, or probably go even higher and create a whole new persona and commit a crime under your name. So the risks are so many that we have to really keep
sababu wengi kwenye doxy bana.
That's doxy sasa.
That's doxing.
As you were saying doxy, I was thinking of
doxing.
And, yes, I was thinking of an antibiotic. Doxycycline, yes.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
This one needs an antibiotic.
Hey, Oscar, you'll tell us more of those risks, and then of course, I hope at the end of this all, you tell us how then we protect ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deactivate all your social media accounts.
Hey,
as a hermit in this world.
Hey. Oscar Okoh is a cybersecurity and data privacy consultant, and he's here to tell us and expose to us the risks that we expose ourselves to when we share all this personal information on social media, and then what we need to do about it. Time for that break. Faithless episode
2. Our CT will say episode 2.
He does it like this. 2. So there are 2.
Somewhere in there are 2. So will Esther and her friends start to unravel what is really going on with this bag of money that they found? Will they keep it for themselves, or will they take it to the church? What will happen in episode 2 today? It's Showmax's latest original title, Faithless. Episode 2 drops today. Get onto showmax.com, subscribe and watch and see what happens with Faith and her friends, Esther and her friends.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Take the money. Who's gonna know? Cain won't rest until he finds you. You could run and go far away. Think about your role in the church. No one will know. It'll
Hey, you're good? It's been a minute. I don't see you at the apartments these days.
I'm good when I move.
Ah, better job, a better pay, more rent, huh?
Wapi Omera, call me homeowner.
Yeah, right. What are you talking about?
Listen, I was tired of paying rent. So, I remember I always told you, I need my own place.
Where? See, you must be earning a pretty penny to have bought a house or even be paying a mortgage.
No. I got on to Boma Yangu. It's a government-owned project for affordable housing.
Now, what is that?
Live the dream, owning your home. Log on to www.bomayangu.co.ke or dial *832# or walk into any Huduma Center countrywide and start your journey towards home ownership today.
It's that time again when we get to gather around and marvel at the great engineering, raw power, finesse, and sharing our round motor love for motoring at the annual Digger Motor Show 2023. From car lovers, bike enthusiasts, spare part dealers, insurance, as well as asset financiers and more, this year's Digger Motor Show will be one for the books. We're talking a whole 4-day event from Thursday 20th to Sunday 23rd at KICC Grounds, Nairobi, where we will have something for everyone, so you better not miss out. Get the family, bring your friends, and share in the joys that will give you lasting memories and an experience you're bound to not forget. For more information or participation, contact Caroline on 0723-803601 or email sinyandieka@standardmedia.co.ke. Digger Motor Show 2023 is brought to you by Standard Group and Digger Motors and is powered by Spice FM.
Have you ever heard about Mivida? A residential developer created by Actis and Sharpuji Palonji Real Estate, who bring over 220 years in global real estate. They deliver what they promise on time, always. Join their CEO, Samuel Karaoke, on The Situation Room and learn how they are changing the definition of quality living and making home ownership more accessible through their rent-to-own. All right, cloudy conditions, maybe a little bit of sunshine in Nairobi, going to highs of 21 and lows of 11. It's partly sunny at 18 in Nakuru, highs of 25 and lows of 12, and we'll see lows of 13. Partly sunny, Nyeri at 17. It's 18 and sunny in Eldoret, highs of 24, and Mombasa will see highs of 28, where it's mostly cloudy at 25. It's 26 and the sun is up in Malindi, highs of 28, 26 and highs of 28. It's sunny at 24 in Kisumu, highs of 28 today, and Kakamega will see highs of 28 as well. Sunny through Kampala, going to highs of 27, and sunny in Dar es Salaam with highs of 30. The sun is rising in Johannesburg, it's 9 degrees, highs of 16 and lows of 2. Mostly cloudy in Lagos, highs of 30, and at 18 it's sunny in Kinshasa, going to highs of 32. 24 and cloudy going into late afternoon in Beijing, highs of 26 and lows of 22. It's 18 and sunny in Paris, highs of 26, and we'll see highs of 23 in a sunny London at 17. Clear conditions at 26 Wednesday night in New York. Coming into Thursday, highs of 32 and lows of 24.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
When the engine revs, will you be ready to get all that petrol head enthusiasm at this year's annual Digger Motor Show? Well, you better belt up and make your way to KICC from the 20th to the 23rd of July 2023 for a wholesome 4-day event. Come and join car lovers, bike enthusiasts, spare part dealers, insurance as well as asset financiers, and more for what will be an unforgettable experience by far. We are going all out to make it a great show for you and the whole family with something for everyone, so you better not miss out. For more information or participation, contact Caroline on 0723803601 or email sinyandiaka@standardmedia.co.ke. Digger Motor Show 2023 is brought to you by Standard Group and Digger Motors and is powered by Spice FM.
No matter.
The twist of church adherents getting involved in crime explores our inner turmoil and conflict of faith versus money.
Kubaya, we don't have enough money. Kwani, how bad is it? It's really bad.
Find out how actions and sins are justified as being for the greater good in Faithless.
Do what you have to do, because if not...
Tune in to Sugar and Spice to find out more about Faithless and why you should subscribe to Showmax.
You have nothing to fear.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission will on the 11th of July 2023 lead other Kenyans in commemorating the African Anti-Corruption Day, which is marked annually every July. The commemoration provides a platform for anti-corruption stakeholders to reflect on the progress made, challenges encountered, and the reform opportunities available in the journey towards an ethical Kenyan society. Join a pre-commemoration panel discussion on KTN News this Wednesday, 12th July 2023 with Eric Latiff, Okoh, and CT Muga, and a panel of experts. It's not going to get any thicker than this, at least not for now. Looking much better coming off of Thika Superhighway. We'll see some traffic though as you get towards Pangani at the underpass. And this is outer ring, some traffic, and it's outbound. Not quite sure what's causing that, but that has picked up after 9. In most parts of the city now, you'll be able to get through where you're going without any headaches whatsoever. Limuru Road packed up late in the game, but that should fizzle out in no time. Through the day, talk to us. Spice FM. KE on Twitter.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
With Oscar Okoh, who's a cybersecurity and data privacy expert. And Oscar, you're giving us the risks of just sharing our information and data on social media. One of them you've said is what you said, what?
Doxing.
Doxing. So doxing. And doxing is, again?
Ideally sharing somebody's information to the general public for misuse.
So basically, I just go and post and say, this is City Muga's number.
Yes.
And this is where he lives.
And
Yes, and this is where he lives.
And this is
So
where he likes hanging out.
just the number or where you live is enough, and that will
just expose you to.
Yes.
Okay. Another one?
So obviously, from now a cyber risk perspective, there is the risk of hacking, and especially when you use the same devices for both your social interactions and work. Like many people work from home nowadays, and you use the same machine. So that's a big risk because, unbeknown to you, you can transfer the risks from your personal engagement on social media to now the enterprise network. Because when somebody has access to your phone, and you use the same phone to access work emails, then it just piggybacks onto the organizational infrastructure.
But how?
And that's a whole risk here.
How?
Well, we call them viruses and malware, depending on what the developer has as an intention. They can just use your social media as an entry point, but probably their end game is to get into, they know where you work, so they get back into what you do, the organization you work for, and then now they can do whatever they want to do. So some of these are really targeted. There is something we call welling, where you look at an organization, the key staff of that organization, say the CEO, and he's always on social media sharing something, and you kind of know what he likes. So you create a content
that's
with malware attached, and you're sure he's going to interact with it, and he uses his phone, which he also uses for organizational email, back into the organization. Then now you can do whatever you want to do. So that's a real big risk to organizations, and organizations have taken steps to protect themselves because from an enterprise perspective, they have what you call the mobile device management and mobile application management. So ideally, yes, the device is yours, but the data is ours. So all the applications are ours, the applications you use to do your work. So should they notice anything
untoward,
yes, then they can wipe your device remotely, or they can deny access from that point. So those are controls that organizations take towards protecting themselves. But again, like I said, the weakest link is the actual user on social media who chances are do not know of these risks and do not take the necessary precautions. So a lot of times this is the weakest link, and for attackers, you can do 1,000 things right, but just that one thing you didn't do correctly, that's what they use, and that's all they need to do whatever they want to do. So it is really important for both organizations and individuals to take data privacy seriously, to know what the risks are, to actually take steps to protect themselves, because it's not about you, it's also about everybody else. You know, the memes you share in a family group, yes, you may take all the precautions, but when somebody does not do the right thing, then everybody's at risk. Yeah, so it's really important that we know about this and we actually take steps to protect ourselves against that.
What I'm hearing you just saying, do not open, don't click on those links.
Best
Try
case
as
scenario,
much as possible not to.
Absolutely, because you never know what's behind it.
Why? So what are you consuming on social media then? It's about memes, man.
You know, every time one looks at a subject such as the one you're discussing, the thing that seems to be at the heart of all this is not the threat or the problem, but it's the benefit that one derives from this to begin with. Because that's the pull. It affords you a certain comfort. It affords you a certain ability. It affords you a certain ease. But then within that is embedded risks that you have no clue about.
Absolutely. And if I may just use numbers to justify that, I think this is something I was reading just before I came in here, that last year, I think 2022, and this was the Department of Trade in the US, they said essentially online scam cost the US economy around 770 million USD.
Hey. Online?
Yes, online scams. And out of this, 4 out of 10 came through social media. So that's do your math, that is probably maybe 3 out of 7. That's probably 300 million USD in losses that came through social media, either through employees not doing what they should have done, or resharing emails, or using easy to guess passwords, or maybe lost devices that are then an analysis is done by threat actors to recover your passwords or your account, and then they use this to attack the organization. So it actually has real dollar amounts attached to it, and of course that is what organizations listen to. And when they listen to, and also countries have taken really big steps to protect their ecosystem against this. But I will go back to what I've said from the very beginning. The weakest link in this trail is the end user who just goes to Facebook in the morning to see what's trending, Twitter to see what's trending, go to Instagram to share their pictures, go to probably TikTok to watch the short videos and just to have fun. Unbeknown to them, this is where really the money is. And of course the attackers know this, and they know that when they come, say through guns, they want to steal your phone, so they get the passwords. That's too complicated. But they can come through a funny meme that for sure you like. And through that, you literally give them the keys to the gate and, do whatever you want. Yeah.
You know what you're saying, if I were to take it literally, then I would delete any meme that comes into my phone. Anything that I don't seem to understand, I will delete.
That should be the ideal case. But we being humans, that's part of our social engagement.
Curiosity.
Yes.
Curiosity.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is why, for all intents and purposes, whatever controls we put into place, they will never be 100% effective, because we're curious. We want to see, you don't want me to open this site, why?
Yeah.
Then I go open it.
Eric mentioned something about this malware and the business that people are in it. I mean, how does the creation of malware, how does it present itself as a business? You're in the business of creating harm, so how is that beneficial to you?
So it's the same question you'd ask yourself, why do people rob banks? Because that is where the money is.
Yes.
So then...
Ndu would say touche.
Yes.
Yes.
So now government services have gone online. If you want to apply for, say, your driving license, you pay it online.
Yeah.
You want to, say, book your vacation, it's online. You want to probably order takeaway meals, it's online. They're stored somewhere. There are systems that manage these transactions online. So instead of getting a gun to go to a bank, and this is a very, it's an easier proposition to threat actors. And it's also because your victim a lot of times does not know you're there. So the cost may be higher for less effort. So
you create the malware, and then when someone clicks, you basically then plant a virus into their device.
Correct.
And then that virus is able to start mining data.
Yes.
From what they're doing.
Yes.
So they'll leave this particular tab that has this social media platform, which is where you clicked, and then they will go into this other tab that has their mobile bank, online banking. They'll enter their banking passwords and everything, and they'll open their account, and then this thing is just reading everything and sending back the information quietly and silently back to the malware creator.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So all of these things that we are talking about that are risks or dangers are actually things that cause harm or danger on the other side. Somebody impersonating you could go and do something criminal with your name, right? Somebody going into your system can steal your money. Somebody can go ask people for money or defraud others with your name. All of these things with a negative tinge to them, which are crimes, right?
Correct.
We previously heard that there's a footprint on everything, down to the detail. You can find out who did what.
Absolutely.
Right? So, is there room now in this space within which we are speaking about than to start making traces and get the people behind all of these creations to pay for what they're doing? Yes. Every so often, the real cybercrime gangs are apprehended and they're made to pay. But like you said, in the digital sphere, the digital applications and products keep changing. Technology keeps changing. So, yes, you may have this mitigation today, but they're always ahead of the game. The police officers, legislation, they're always catching up. And they cannot be at par because, like I said, it's like playing football. It's easier to strike than to defend. Because defend, you're going to react to what the striker does. But the striker has a million things that they could do to the defender. You get my point?
Yeah.
So the risks are there and they're always going to be there. And the more interconnected we are, the more new systems come aboard, the more people come online. And a lot of these people come online do not even know some of these risks.
Yeah.
So there is always a low-hanging fruit through which they can come. However much you protect your organization, however much you protect your device, there's always something or someone who's going to do something stupid to open that door.
So who do you go and report to? It's not a cybersecurity police station somewhere in the cloud. Who do you go and report these things to and say, because you've just said the police are always catching up, for example. So who do you take this to? Somebody's hacked into your operation system, somebody's done something, impersonated you. Where do you take it?
So in Kenya, we have the Cyber Incidents Response Center, where I think they have that communication somewhere in the CA website, where you can actually report incidents. But like you rightfully said, the cybercrime and the normal crime are probably cybercrime is even higher than the normal crime. But I don't know whether our security forces have the ability, like you go to a police station and say your phone was hacked, then the askari writes the OB. So what are they going to do that OB, you know? But I also know that we have like I think it was launched sometime last year, there's a forensics unit, forensics lab in the Kenya Police.
Yeah.
I would imagine this is part of what they deal with. But for the normal user, beyond reporting to the CA, I think really the onus is on you to protect yourself. Before the organization comes in to support you, the damage may be done already. So it is better to know this, protect yourself, and that which you cannot do for yourself, say from an organizational perspective, they do it. And then the country or the security forces within the country also do what they do at a country level. But the risk, I have to unfortunately be the bearer of bad news that we are never going to catch up with these threat actors because there is always something changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if I were to use a phone that isn't a smartphone, am I safer?
You are safer than somebody with a smartphone.
I know I'm able to do less with the phone beyond calling and sending SMSs.
That's correct.
But I'm safer.
You're safer. And may I also add that a lot of times, I don't know whether you've noticed this, but if you haven't, please just be keen, that just by having your phone around you, a lot of times, say you have a discussion about ice cream. Discuss ice cream. Then the next time you go online, you get an advert on ice cream. Then you ask yourself how. So unbeknown to us, most of these smartphones have so many sensors, some of which you don't know. You know of the camera and probably the speaker. But there are probably thousands of other sensors that the manufacturers will never declare to you because they don't need to. So a lot of times when you're sleeping and your phone is next to you because you're expecting a call, whatever call, it probably tracks your sleeping pattern. What time do you sleep? How much do you turn in bed? And these are all data points that can be used to create a very accurate persona.
Sell you a mattress.
Absolutely.
A new pillow.
Change.
Yes. Or if you snore as you sleep, then
get up
start
and
bringing
walk.
you sleep apnea things.
Yeah, so in short, you're safer off with a feature phone than a smartphone. But you're safer without a phone.
Time for a new girlfriend.
Change your shirt.
In all these things that you're telling us, Oscar, so this hour, yes, there are risks. But let's bring it down to Kenya. Are there incidences that you've heard of in Kenya where a crime was committed and looking back, it's traced back to somebody's social media habits?
Yes, we hear it every day on social media, where especially these influencers, something as simple as you create content or you're a content creator, and then somebody takes the same content and posts in their own page.
As though it's theirs.
Yes,
Yeah.
as if it's theirs. Of course, they get the clicks and the revenue out of it. And then a lot of times that's easy to deal with because you have one
That's just
platform.
a copycat.
Yes. So
Okay.
that you report that to the platform management and they bring it down. But a lot of times, because you want to be the first person to say, have some information, you always send every nefarious information to the bloggers. And beknown to them, this could be the easiest ways to get into their lives and essentially bring down their whole business empire. And this has happened before. Not so big on following bloggers, but every so often when I go online, I see similar cases. But the biggest case, of course, we all know of Naivas, the data breach. Yes, a lot of times these are not people who come with the guns or bulldozers and break into your data center and carry your devices away. No, the easiest way to get in are through the employees, and for all intents and purposes, you may train all your employees, tell them all the right things, but they're always changing. Somebody leaves today, another one comes in tomorrow. Probably there is a delay between the provisioning of an old email address of somebody who's left, and of course these threat actors, if they're so determined on that organization, they know who's left, and they probably think you haven't disabled their emails. So they test, and if it's still active, that becomes the entry point. So those are some of the examples. I really don't want to go into the details because there's a lot, especially the banking sector. A lot of times they're hit and they don't
government
talk about it.
Can I ask one question though about the platforms that we get onto for internet? I remember we took a trip last year and CT was adamant that he's not getting on the hotel Wi-Fi, and he said absolutely not, I will not do it. Okay, so is that also a danger, getting onto public Wi-Fi and things like that, whereby somebody could actually creep in onto your network and do the same things that we've been speaking about today? It's something that we take for granted, but is it?
Yes, that's a very real risk, and I still get surprised that people literally go with the work devices and to Java and connect to the Wi-Fi and you're working from there. I'm like, really, you should know better at least.
No, we do not know better.
No.
And that Wi-Fi is free. So
And protected, whatever.
Yes.
So the real risk is that unlike, say, organizational Wi-Fi that has extra security controls, a lot of times these hotels or these restaurants provide that Wi-Fi as a value addition. So it is not, they have no motivation to protect it like, say, an organization would want to protect their networks. So a lot of times the traffic in that open network is literally unencrypted. So somebody can just, log in and kind of capture your traffic and straight away they have your password. And woe unto you if this was organizational work that you're doing or organizational email, and probably you are a key, maybe technology person or finance person. So then they have access to the finance services and the technology services. So my advice, do not access those. Always have your own, get your MiFi or probably your phone. They're safer. You're safer that way than joining an open network.
So don't do those transactions. Like, don't go there and get onto the company platform. Or you go there and start banking. Do you enter online banking from a public Wi-Fi? What?
That's like just asking the robbers to take the keys.
Here I am.
It's like standing somewhere and saying, so my password
is
this one. So telling everybody publicly. I think there's a lot that people just need to know and just keep thinking of constantly and remembering what we need to be careful about. But we thank you very much, Oscar, for joining us today. Oscar Okwero is a cybersecurity and data privacy expert, and he's been telling us how to navigate digital platforms, especially social media, kind of information that then you share on social media, and how that becomes a risk and an entry point for very many other risks for your other personal life. Asante sana for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. Today, Justice Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, the 14th. Hey, tomorrow is April Day. Okay, tomorrow is 14th. Hey. Where? You just have a lovely day. Sasawa. Yeah, and remember again, Showmax original Faithless second episode comes out today. Just log on to showmax.com, subscribe, and if you're subscribed, just go and enjoy the content. It's 10 a.m.